Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Fresh Out, the podcast. I am the board game guru and game master extraordinaire, Johananon.
It's me, Casualty CDG, co-host of Fresh Out the Box and Fresh Out the Podcast. Thank you guys so much for having me here. I'm excited to talk about 23.
And I am the professional media and movie mastermind, the Funhouse, Drew Munhausen. And we have a guest here today. Once again, joining us is the mayor of Nerdtropolis himself, Sean Tajapur. Sean, how are you?
I am the guest that never leaves. I am underneath one of y'all's beds at night.
I love that.
I am Sean Tajapur, the mayor of Nerdtropolis, doing great, Drew. And I must say, happy birthday to you. Let's all say happy birthday to Drew. Or not.
Happy birthday, Drew.
Yes, happy belated. We're one day removed from Drew's birthday. Last year, of course, were the horrible Capitol riots. This year, the sex allegation king of sex allegations, Vince McMahon, has forced himself back into the WWE in sort of a hostile takeover move to try and sell the company. So, as usual, Drew's birthdays are just rife with bad news.
Yeah, gotta love it. Right.
On that note, I'm glad
and
to be
and then
back.
on top of it, it's like it's a week into the new year. You've probably already broken what bad New Year's resolutions you had for yourself, so you're probably already feeling depressed. And then it's just Drew's birthday on top of it. There it is.
Jeez, don't put that on me just because you can't keep up with your resolutions for 5 days.
Wow. What are your resolutions for this year? Do you have any?
You know, honestly, I didn't. In the past, I actually have sat down and made a resolution or two. I didn't do any this year. I really didn't.
Damn. That is just a sign of success. You're just so swagged out, you're killing it.
No. I wish that was the case. It's one of those where it's like I feel like it's the same old. Like, I'm gonna be healthier this year, and like I can tell you already that hasn't happened yet. So that's for sure.
You already ate an entire bag of Oreos going in?
Well, my work sent me an entire giant box of Tiff Treats cookies yesterday, so like naturally there's already a layer of those gone.
How do you not? You know what I mean?
Oh, and they were fresh, like they were still hot. Oh,
Were they fresh out of the box?
Oh yeah, I had a few fresh out of the box.
I want you to describe eating them slowly, but we don't have the time.
Pass that same question to you, John. You have any noteworthy, any New Year's resolutions? Do you have anything you're trying to do this year?
Resolutions are for chumps.
Also swagged out. Already at the top, king of the mountain, can't get any better. Both of these guys are just straight.
See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, and then I'm going to achieve. All right?
Nice. Okay. All right, yeah, let's get into it then.
Sean, any for you? Any for you?
Not really. No.
You on the spot.
Just to keep up with y'all.
Nice. I like that one. More Fresh Out the Podcast. That's a good resolution.
Just fresh out the podcast, no one else.
He had a better resolution than any of us. And this is our show. What in the absolute shit? How did we not plan this?
That's why I voted for him.
Yeah, I voted for him for mayor.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we've been riffing for a bit here, but the real agenda today is that each of us have prepared. We all did homework. Gary himself did the homework. He did the assignment.
Man,
he did it.
So proud of you, Gary.
And I opened up the document today to see where everybody was at, and the other guys did their homework separately. So I looked at it and was like, I'm the only one? Am I the only one who did the homework assignment? Never in my life. I'm 33. This would be the first time ever that I've been the guy who did the homework assignment, and you guys are the ones who didn't do it. But then I found out you did. You just forgot to turn it in.
I do appreciate the notes that you put under my episode 71 notes, though.
Not me, sir. Not me.
It wasn't you.
That's guilty as charged over here.
Okay.
That's why I was five
thanks
minutes
for
late,
noticing.
first of all. I was finishing my list.
Nice.
just like in high school. Always to the last.
I didn't even get to say what it was. I just started talking about Gary doing the homework. We each did a list of our top 5 most anticipated movies of 2023, top 5 most anticipated TV shows of 2023, and top 5 most anticipated games of 2023, which I always do know, which, Jahan, I don't know if you have surprised me here. I always just say games and don't say video games specifically, because Jahan usually has some sort of new board game or tabletop game or something that he's looking forward to. So I like to leave the games open and not just video games. I will spoil and say that mine are all video games.
I definitely do, but just for sake of conversation, I kept it to video games.
And as we have already gone off on a few tangents, I imagine that's going to happen here throughout, with us getting super excited or pumped for some new thing that's coming out down the line. So I believe we'll kind of gauge where we're at on timing, but this will probably be split into part 1 and part 2. We'll note clearly when that will happen. So y'all will have plenty of good content coming up. Does that sound good to everybody here as we improvise?
Sounds so good.
Well, do we want to talk about anything recently that we've been watching or enjoying, or do we want to just jump into these lists?
I want to slap it. I want to slap it right on its little bottom.
Yeah, I'll also just jump right into the list. What I've been watching isn't good enough to talk about. I've been filling my brain with junk TV.
And Sean, you've been watching CES. Do you want to note anything about that?
Well, CES, yeah, I guess there's a lot of stuff coming out for the future.
What's CES?
So the Consumer Electronics Show, where you got your Sony, your LG, Panasonic, you have all your like Mercedes, Ram. Like Ram introduced electric truck that they're coming out with. Sony unveiled their little team up with Honda for electric vehicle. But like the PSVR 2 was there, which is really cool. You can do demos and stuff with that. They announced for the PSVR 2 that there's gonna be at least 35 games at launch. And they were just having the cool demos there. And then they introduced a new controller for disabled gamers, which is really cool. And that was really cool to see them do that. And then we had a little surprise about the Gran Turismo movie coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, because I think I misunderstood your original tweet. So you were just there for them announcing it or unveiling that trailer that kind of came with it, right?
So
they didn't
I was
show
just there.
The movie there.
They showed like behind the scenes, and they had the director there, and it was just like a Sony press event. So they kind of had it about the gaming, the vehicle, and then the movie aspects, and then the cameras. The big thing about Gran Turismo is about the Sony cameras they were using and how they're fitting them in the cockpit of these vehicles, and they have to be kind of low profile and kind of fit, but still be a high quality camera. So that was also their little tease about their camera systems that are coming out for cinematic industry.
I did see some of those behind the scenes clips that you posted on Nerdtropolis, and I saw, because the way they have the camera mounted up behind the car, it gives the exact same view of like if you were playing the game itself or playing a racing simulator. And I thought that was kind of it's always fun to see those touches from game to screen, but it works so much better with cars, right? Like in the Doom movie had the famous first person sequence in the movie, which is just super cheesy, but for like a racing movie or a car, film mostly centered around cars, I feel like having that kind of viewpoint from video game to screen cinematically works really well.
Yeah, if they could put those cameras obviously on vehicles, which they can't for many reasons, like in real racing, NASCAR, Indy, they'd be so cool and much more funner to watch these races with those cool angles. But like I think NASCAR has like cameras embedded in the track, so when they're flying by, you see it. That's really cool. Obviously, you can't have cameras on the cars, but Gran Turismo will fulfill those awesome angles that we get in the video game, and it looked beautiful seeing it on the screen.
I've always loved over the years of cinematography, whenever you see those really cool car chases, then you see the behind the scenes, and there's like an entire rig built on top of the car or a crane built off to the side of the car with the cameras, the way that they used to have to do practical effects back in like the 80s and 90s. So it's cool to see that cameras have come far enough where you can almost rig them into the cockpit now, because they've come a long way, and
right.
It's cool, man.
And Sony were the cameras that were used for Top Gun Maverick. So it seems very similar type of try to fit in the cockpit and make sure you can get high quality shots in a very constrained area.
Very cool.
All right, so y'all ready to jump into these here lists?
Yeah, man, what do you want to start with? Movies or shows or games, and who?
Here's what I'm thinking, and y'all can agree or disagree. I
agree. I already like what you're thinking. I'm in on Drew's plan.
When we're planning live on the show, I feel like we'll start with our number 5 movie and do each person do their number 5, and then we'll jump to each person's number 5 TV show and then game, and we'll jump back and forth that way. Does that sound good to everybody? So that way it's not just movies, and then then we're really jumping around here.
We better not run out of time because I want to get to the number ones.
Oh, we will. We'll get there. We'll get there. So, well, actually, Sean, I believe since you're the guest, I'm going to go with you first, and we'll start with your number 5 most anticipated film of 2023.
All right, I'm going to go with the Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel. That's supposedly supposed to be here in December of this year, but they're not shooting till spring, so that's a very tight frame. But it's Ghostbusters Firehouse. That's the the filming name for it till we get an actual title. But that is on my list for number 5.
Half the things that we list in these different lists are probably, as soon as these episodes post, they're going to announce that they got delayed to 2024. Like pretty much everything we all choose. No, that's an interesting. You were a big fan of Ghostbusters Afterlife, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm a big Ghostbusters fan. I'm getting ready to get my my proton pack from Hasbro. Should be shipping soon, so I did that little.
Did you get the gun also that
No,
connects to the proton pack?
No, I will. They're around still, so I'm gonna grab one. I was hoping it might be discount because I had to pay a pretty penny.
My brother got one years ago when they first announced, and so he lost his business when the proton pack got announced, and then that they all work together and everything, that they plug in and work functionally. Yeah, he's a huge Ghostbusters fan.
Yeah, it's exciting what they built with that, and pretty screen accurate, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the next coolest thing to getting like a lightsaber that actually like comes out of the hilt and goes all the way up and comes back. That like a Star Wars fan would lose their mind for a real lightsaber, right? The proton pack's as real as it gets, and you can actually catch ghosts with it too. I heard.
Well, of course.
Ghostbusters Afterlife had a lot of things in it that I liked, and then I really did not like the last action sequence or the climax of it. But I had to make sure that didn't tarnish my whole experience because there was a lot in that movie that I did like.
Which part are you talking about? When they're back at the house or when they're fighting in the mountain?
I am talking about the legacy aspect of it.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. How very small it was.
Yes, and almost anticlimactic despite knowing, and then just something that they did in that didn't quite work for me very well. That's all I'll say. Because I know that movie came out over a year ago, and so we're kind of past the point of we probably can spoil it, but I won't. In case there is somebody out there listening that hasn't seen it yet, I don't want to spoil it. But it has to do with the very final action sequence where I'll just say this because I don't think it's a spoiler. Everybody knows that the original Ghostbusters are in that movie, and there is a point where they show up at the end, and it just wasn't what I wanted. That's all.
If you're at home and you're that guy or gal who hasn't seen the Ghostbusters movie yet, don't feel bad. I haven't, and I also like the Ghostbusters and sort of want to. I just haven't seen it. I don't know why. I have no excuse. But thank you for not spoiling anything for me.
I will have no comment. I have strong.
I think Jahan was not a big fan of that movie.
Well, let's move on then from my pick to someone else's. Then how about that?
Hey, I'm glad that you didn't pick it because it gave us a chance to talk about it. And I here's the thing: at the end of the day, any new Ghostbusters movie that comes out, I'm gonna go see it. So it's worthy of discussion. Jahan, what is your number 5 film?
So I'm not sure how exact. I have conflicting feelings about this movie, but I put it on my list anyways because I'm still excited to see it. Last Train to New York. It is the American reimagining of Train to Busan. I mean, I was annoyed when I heard that they were remaking it because, like, why? The first one was good. Like, why you got to make it American? But hey, like, it's going to New York. I don't know. It's going to be different, I hope, and I'm excited for it.
I actually just saw Train to Busan for the first time only like 2 years ago or so. So I came to that movie more recently, and it rules.
That movie rocks. It's one of the best modern zombie movies.
And in case y'all didn't know, Jahan, he's a zombie guy.
I do.
He likes.
I do. My lists are peppered with the undead. So,
ooh, okay. Gary, you're number 5?
So, I know that DC movies have not been good, and I know there's no reason to expect them to suddenly be good. James Gunn's there now. He's taking over now, writing scripts now, but Blue Beetle was already in production. It was originally slated to be an HBO Max movie, and then they decided, let's up the production budget. So I have to imagine that there's a real chance that this is streaming quality movie or worse. I hope, however, that this standalone DC movie, since they chose this standalone approach and separated themselves, I really hope that they strike lightning here and they have a great character in Blue Beetle and it's a fun, great movie. I've seen some of the costume stuff behind the scenes and it looks really good. And I like Blue Beetle as a character, so my number 5 most anticipated movie will be DC's Blue Beetle.
Good pick.
What's Blue Beetle's deal? What's his thing?
He has
familiar with.
He has an alien cyborg costume. Think of it as sort of like a Venom symbiote type of situation, except it's like a robot, and it's not quite as evil. But it does like to blow people's heads off and kill people. It does not mind. And Jaime Reyes, the person who occupies the costume, is much more kinder heart than that. He's not the killing type of hero. So he's sort of struggling with the young hero's sort of maybe spirit of vengeance, Ghost Rider, Venom persona type of thing that you've seen a million times. But he's, of course, Jaime Reyes. He's a Mexican character, and I think his stories take place in El Paso and in New Mexico, so it's a cool sort of southwestern vibe to it as well. So it got some things that set it out from other superheroes, and I'm just, fingers crossed, hoping that Blue Beetle will be at least watchable.
Big fan of Blue Beetle. I also like Blue Beetle, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be
I'm a
interesting.
big fan of the guy playing Blue Beetle, Sholo from Cobra Kai.
Oh.
Okay. I assume that it's not really going to tie into anything in the bigger scale, so it kind of works out for all of the reworking of the DC universe right now, that I think this thing's just going to exist on its own, which will be good for it.
It really reminds me of almost like where Daredevil winded up landing for the Netflix Disney thing, where if this is good, I could see them keeping Blue Beetle around, and if it's not, they could just ignore it and pretend it never happened. So I hope that this is good and they keep him around.
It's a good cast, man. I didn't realize. I just looked it up because you said Zolo was
Susan Sarandon, I think George Lopez.
Harvey Guillen, who is from What We Do in the Shadows. He's Guillermo. And he was also in that werewolf movie recently. But yeah, no, it's a good cast, man. I'm down to see this.
He was in Werewolf Within. I remember him.
Yeah.
I think they'll keep Blue Beetle around in the DCU. Sholo's young enough, and it's a young character, and so there's no reason. He looks really young for his age anyway.
I think even if the movie's not great, they can still save the actor and save the character if they want to. I'm curious to see, and this is sort of our first taste of, what's James Gunn going to do with his new DC verse? Does he keep this or does he move on? And that's exciting for me to see this pivotal moment.
Well, my number 5 movie is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And bear with me here. Here's why I'm excited for this one. Because I get it. It's, he's so old, and I know. But James Mangold's directing, which I think is exciting. I love Spielberg. I've been on the record on this show. I sing the praises of Steven Spielberg all the time. And However, I don't think it's a bad thing that he's stepping away from this. He's got his other things going on. The reception for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull wasn't necessarily the best at the time. I have revisited that movie since. I think it's not as bad as everybody says it is. It has its issues, but I still like that movie. However, James Mangold, I loved Ford vs. Ferrari. I loved Logan. I think that he's, pretty great, incredible director. So I'm interested to see a new vision, new director doing Indiana Jones. And I think that I just low key think this is going to surprise people and end up being really great. So that's why I'm choosing.
It's not the same person that did the Crystal Skull.
It is not the same person that did the Crystal Skull.
I might see it. Yeah, I also Logan I think was like a masterpiece, man. I love Logan. That was such a good movie.
I do not have any hate for Crystal Skull, for what it's worth. But I'm not excited or unexcited to see this movie. Didn't make my top 5 though. But I'm not an Indiana Jones stan, admittedly.
I'm an indie fan. I liked Crystal Skull just because I like aliens. I just thought it was interesting they went that route. But for an Indiana franchise, I thought that was kind of like out of left field. But is Shia going to return? That's my question.
I highly doubt it.
Call in from jail or wherever.
My thing with this movie is that as somebody who goes to the movies a lot, I have already seen this trailer several times before other movies that I've gone to see, and this one definitely runs the risk of me just being so burnt out on seeing the trailer by this summer when the movie actually comes out that I'll be like, will that impact my viewing of the movie at all? Hopefully not, but just runs the risk of me getting really tired of seeing that trailer over and over.
I feel lucky I haven't seen a trailer yet. Let's take it back to Sean for your number 4 most anticipated movie of the year.
All right. My number 4 pick. We're doing movies or we're going to TV? We're jumping. What are we doing?
Ooh, let's do that. Let's
Sorry.
rotate. Let's go to number 5 for TV shows now.
Wow. Okay. We're never going to get to number 1s.
We'll try not to banter us much, but I'll try my best. For TV, my number 5 pick is season 4 of Barry.
And the
I
final.
love Barry.
Yeah, I started watching it last year just because I was like, let me see what the fuss is about. I need something to watch on this streaming app I'm paying way too much for. And I watched the first season, the first episode. I'm like, what is this? I didn't know what it was about. Nothing at all. And I was like, this is a sick show.
Yeah.
Awesome premise, great acting. Love Henry Winkler. I think that's what really got me into the show a lot more than I should have. And been hooked ever since. It's been really fun and wild. I have to recommend that to my parents to watch and be like, get ready for a crazy show that makes no sense with the lead actor. It just makes no sense at all.
Barry streaming where?
Sorry, say that again?
HBO.
HBO.
Yeah,
Okay.
HBO. Yeah, it's HBO
I haven't
Max.
seen it. I need to check it out. I do have HBO, so I can do it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't season 4 the final season of Barry?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so
it's
too.
Very good.
But I only read that in a headline. I don't follow the series that closely. So if they got renewed or something, don't shoot me for giving you bad information.
So far you can take that premise without being it so just repetitive and just he's reached his goal pretty much, but he's dealing with other stuff and there's other things coming out of it. But yeah, they need to have a good ending to it. It might be like Curb Your Enthusiasm. We'll come back, right? For someday, and they'll just continue it in some weird
Yeah,
way.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. Especially with the success it's had. I'm sure if Bill Hader wanted to come back in a few years and had more ideas for an original story, most of the cast would be willing to come back.
Barry in Paris.
Trying to think, what order did I do? Jahan, or you next?
next.
For your number 5 TV show?
Yeah.
That's Jahan.
My number 5 most anticipated TV show 2023 is The Legend of Vox Machina Season 2.
Nice pick.
I'm pretty excited for it. The first season blew me away. I rolled my eyes so hard when that show got announced. I didn't care. I like Critical Role. They're great at what they do. I think they're.
But you wouldn't consider yourself a critter.
No, I'm definitely not a critter. I mean, I listened to season 2. I liked a lot of it. It's good. They're good. No hate on them, but I rolled my eyes over there. But then I watched the show, and it blew me out of the water. It was fantastic. I hope that season 2 is as good. I hear that the season 1 story arc from when they were actually playing was like their best story arc, so I'm not sure, how the second one's going to be, but I have high hopes.
I am a fan of Matt Mercer and Friends, but I don't listen to the Critical Role show like I used to. In fact, I don't keep up to their weekly shows anymore, but I do like them and appreciate what they've done for the hobby, especially of tabletop role-playing and streaming and things like that.
Well said. That's about how I feel about them.
I totally forgot about season 2 of this show, and I will watch it without a doubt. Yeah, hell yeah. Good news. Good pick, Jahan.
Thanks, man.
I'm not feeling as good about my pick, and so this is my... It's not my top 5 most anticipated. This is my least anticipated of the shows that are coming out, okay? Because if I say top 5, it makes it sound like it's good, and I don't think this is going to be good. So Netflix is doing That 90s Show, which is a That 70s Show spinoff, but it does have Kitty and Red, and it's like the grandkids go to visit for the summer, and so the grandkids there are making friends with kids in the neighborhood. And so it's almost a Fuller House sort of approach where they're going to bring in the parents for different episodes for cameos. So you'll see all of the characters you love except for the rapey guy who's not going to be in the show. But they're going to have Fez, and they're going to have the Eric and the Donna and the Jackies. And so, and then like I said, Kitty and Eric and Red are main full-time characters.
It took me way too long to think of who you were talking about. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that piece.
The rapey guy, yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Kitty and Red, I could watch them playing a couple on TV until the day they die. I love the mom and dad vibes that the actor and actress have. And so watching them play a grandma and grandpa, that might just be good enough to get me through an entire season, no matter how bad That 90s Show is. But I do think it'll be about as good as Fuller House, which I think Fuller House was watchable.
That show was when that news came out, that was actually our #1 article for last year, for 2022.
That's crazy.
The cast returning for That 90s Show, and it
looks
looks
a long
cute.
way.
It's a big old tub of
I rewatched all that.
butter, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
a double
rewatched all of
dose.
That 70s Show.
It's a double
Well,
dose
it's one of
because
those
it's
things
nostalgia
where-
for That 70s Show and the 90s.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, Jahan. It's like, I wasn't a big That 70s Show person, but I think part of the appeal for that when it came out was all of the older people who grew up in the 70s watching and seeing the 70s vibe. And now we're all the ones nostalgic for the 90s, so I have more interest in watching That 90s Show just to see how they show the 90s and if I get some sort of nostalgia for it, if that makes sense.
You can't forget that 80s Show was a total bomb and a total disaster.
It was terrible.
And
That was
so,
a thing?
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it was not even related really to That 70s Show. It was just kind of just
it was
using
just
the next name they
network.
can.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed.
It was a total bomb. So now they have to contend with that and with sort of, some of the actors having some shaded history. And can you afford all the actors to come back full time? So I don't know if it'll be good, and I don't know if it'll be unwatchable, but I will watch it. So that's why I put it here. It is anticipated for me. I do want to see this. I just don't think it will be good. It's That 90s Show coming to Netflix in 2023 at some point.
Just next week, 19th of this month, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait long to be disappointed. That's good news.
Or you might love it. Yeah, I think it's the 19th or so. Coming up soon.
So, my number 5 is a Marvel series, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is on one of y'all's lists somewhere else. But my number 5 is Secret Invasion, coming to Disney Plus in, I think, a couple months, like in March-ish. I famously did not have any Marvel shows. Actually, none of us, I think, Gary, Jahan, and I had any Marvel shows on our top 5 TV shows of 2022. But that doesn't keep me from anticipating some coming out this year. I'm excited for Secret Invasion. let's see. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll put it that way. There were a lot of Marvel shows this past year that I was excited for, and then upon viewing them was a little maybe just whelmed, I would say. Secret Invasion, I'm hoping, has the feel of like a big Marvel event, but in the form of one of their Disney Plus shows. So hopefully that's going into it with the right mindset and not going into it setting myself up to be disappointed. But yeah, I feel like everything I've seen for Secret Invasion so far sounds good, and I think it has a cool cast. I believe Olivia Colman's in it, and then of course the returning Marvel characters. And so Secret Invasion. It's my number 5.
That was my pick. That was my pick too.
Great pick.
Yep.
I didn't want to fill my list up with Marvel stuff, so I did not pick Secret Invasion. I saw it. I'm interested, but I didn't pick it. Sean, that was number 5 too.
Well, that was actually gonna be my number 1, and that was my number 1 I anticipated, to be honest.
Really?
So I'm going to make a shift. No, I'm gonna add something else. I have some secondary choices I can fill in there, no problem at all.
Okay.
So I might as well.
I can say spoilers for later. I can say Gary and I share the same number 1. I'll say that now. So we'll get to that down the line. And there's another one that's on Gary's list that is also on mine. So just being able to look at those. So there are going to be a few overlaps here, which I think that's to be expected. But yeah, so that's our top 5 most anticipated TV show, or number 5 most anticipated TV shows. Should we do our number 5 game?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready if you are.
This shift.
I need
Sean,
to make sure.
do you have a number 5 game that you were anticipating?
I do. I just need to make sure it's coming out. Pikmin 4 for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out this year.
Yeah, I think it's still coming out this year, so I'm excited for that when it was teased.
That's a solid Pikmin, my friend.
Yes. I like that. Yeah, so I'm excited for that. Just some nostalgia there, and just I love a Nintendo Switch, to be honest. I mean, I used to be a bigger gamer than I am today, and I used to be obsessed with PlayStation, and then like just kind of went back to Nintendo, and I feel like Nintendo is really more my vibe now.
Hence the shirt.
I was going to say, fitting with the shirt that you're wearing today also.
Yes.
For those that can't see it, it is it's the Nerdtropolis logo, but made in the style of the Nintendo logo.
It's very inspired one-off.
If you like that and other fine TV-related and movie-related shirts with Nerdtropolis on them, check out nerdtropolisshop.com.
Nerd dash.
What do I have on there? I don't know what I have on there.
It's a bunch of men's thongs. That's weird.
I think Drew's modeling them for us.
Oh!
The website traffic goes up 10,000%.
All you have to do is put up a white background, and you.
That's why I sent him to to review the movies to sell some thongs too.
Gotta work for Daddy's Nerdtropolis money, Drew. All right, Jahan. Jahan, what's your number 5?
My number 5 most anticipated game. So this list was much harder for me. There's a lot of games coming out this year. I hope this is a better year for games than last year. Last year, I feel like there's a lot of duds, but my number 5.
I'm with you, Jahan. I feel like the stuff that I was looking forward to the most got pushed to 2023.
Yeah. Or
other stuff that I was looking forward to just came with the whimper. Like, I was genuinely excited for Gotham Knights, and then the reviews came out, and it was so-so. I bought it at the Black Friday sale, and I did play it for a few hours after, and I'm just like, man, I was struggling to get into it at all. So
it was
I'm glad I didn't buy that at all.
It was not a good game. I felt the same way about like Callisto Protocol. I was really excited for that. The reviews came out. It is apparently dog shit. Saints Row was garbage. Yeah, a lot of disappointment last year. This year, it's from FromSoft, Neversoft, the people that did Elden Ring. But one of my favorite franchises of all time, Armored Core, is coming back with the 6th installment from the creators of Elden Ring. So they're promising like some integration of some of the mechanics from that, and like they've learned new things, blah blah blah. It looks graphically amazing. I don't know if any of you ever played Armored Core. I remember playing it on PS2, and like I would load my mech up to my memory card, take it over to my friend's house, and we'd go do like mech battles together. It is a really, really fun game, and one of the best mech games that I've ever played. So I'm pretty excited.
Armored Core, but I'm more of a Mech Assault guy.
Assault.
That, of course, was the Microsoft series. That was a bit more arcadey and cartoony.
Yeah, Armored Core. I don't know. They approach it the same way like games like Gran Turismo approach racing games. Like it's supposed to be a simulation. You can micromanage like a lot of your stats and stuff, and then you take your tuned machine out and you run it around the track. Except you're shooting guns. So I'm pretty excited for this one.
Is that coming out for all the systems?
I think so. I don't think it's an exclusive of any kind. Armored Core 6.
I might be able to get into custom tuning a mech and tearing people up on the battlefield with you. I might be able to get behind that.
Hells yes.
Yeah, I could see me doing that. My number 5 anticipated game is a 1988 cult classic hit movie, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Good pick.
In this movie, clowns show up and they turn people into cotton candy, take them back to the fun house, stab them with giant straws, and suck all their blood out. The video game is asymmetric, a lot like the Jason games and a lot like Evil Dead, except instead of being one bad guy, there are 3 bad guys and 7 good guys. So instead of being 3-on-1, it's 7-on-3. So you've got 10 guys playing, which I think really wakes up this genre a little bit, because I would have loved to play the Ghostbuster game where one person plays as a ghost and 4 play as Ghostbusters, but when I play games, I play with 2 or 3 people, and it won't let you multi-queue that way. One person has to pick bad guy who's playing solo, and it just kind of breaks up your teams. It breaks up your squad in a weird way. When you have 3 villains and 7 people on a team, you will never have a pre-made group of 7 guys, and you'll probably have 3. So the 3 of you can play Ghost, the 3 of you can swap, a single guy can play Ghost, get matched with a duo. So the way that it makes the community sort of play together, I think it'll keep life in the game longer than the other games that have the 4-on-1. Those communities fall apart, in my opinion. So I'm excited for this because it's based on a pre-existing thing that I think is funny, 3 people playing as giant dopey evil clowns, and they take this genre that I think is dying, and I didn't really know how to solve this counter-op genre. I've always enjoyed people playing as bad and good versus, but the strong guys are bad guys and they're better. I think this is a great way of finally balancing that with a 3-on-7. Curious to see how Killer Clowns is when it comes out. Games like this, they only ever suffer from having not enough people buy the game. It's just a small community that'll fizzle, so we will see how they do on marketing and what the price point is. My number 5 most anticipated game will be Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Underrated movie. Underrated.
Absolutely underrated. I always thought it was garbage because like they used to sell it at like the dollar store on DVD, and they frame it like it's a crap movie. Then I finally watched it. I was like, this is pretty good. This is pretty good stuff.
I think it has a pretty loyal cult following these days.
I'm the leader of that cult.
In a long time. That's one that I watched at Gary's house. Like we were kids, and Gary's older brother's like, "Here, let's watch this, guys," and put it on, and that was the day that I became an adult. It was transformative.
Yeah, man, Killer Clowns from Outer Space will make you a man. You heard it from Drew.
My number 5 game I am looking forward to this year is Diablo 4, which a lot of that is based on just nostalgia. I was a huge Diablo 2 fan back in the day and sunk way too many hours into that. I remember back in, I think it was around 2012 when Diablo 3 came out, and that was truly like an event for me and some friends that were big Diablo 2 fans, and we were all, we were playing Diablo 2 when we were like in junior high or, freshman in high school, and then all of a sudden Diablo 3 comes out and we're all out of college and playing it. And now here we are, Diablo 4, where I'm a married adult with a child, and I'm going to be playing the next one when it comes out. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. To be honest, there's been nothing that's been shown about this that I find to be super, more exciting than the past games. But like I said, it's just the nostalgia I have for the past games in this franchise make me that excited for a new entry in the series. So Diablo 4.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of faith in that franchise personally, but I'm definitely down to try it. I'm really hoping that because of the Activision Blizzard deal, we might get it on Game Pass. All of those, I mean, if that happens, I'll absolutely play it. I'll probably play it a lot. But I've lost some faith in that series. I really liked it. I love 2, but
I loved Diablo 2. I felt like they added very little from 2 to 3, and I was totally disappointed, not interested at all, and I think the series is just like super flat and dead for me. I hated their mobile app crap that they did, and I'm really not looking forward to this one at all, personally. Diablo, for me, they need to rebuild some trust, and like you said, they haven't really shown anything new or innovative that they're doing. They're just like, look, guys, we're doing more of the same. Which is awesome, because you talked about how much it scratched your itch for nostalgia, and that's exactly what you want. But I want to play something different. I want to play something better, more advanced. I want to see them build and grow, and I haven't seen that much.
I think you can actually finally customize characters, so...
they're going to have to do more than that to win me over. That's 20 years too late.
Yeah, it's fair. Drew, you were talking about the movie that robbed you of your innocence was Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah, it's probably not the right way to say it, but I'm just going to commit to it, so yes.
It'll put hair on your chest.
Mine was The End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mine was From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay, that's
Are we saying that? Are we saying that because it's a rated R movie? Is that what we're saying?
I don't know, the one where you watched it and you were like there's too much going on, and like you felt it, like you're like, oh no, I shouldn't watch this movie.
Here's the thing, like as a kid, I watched all kinds of dumb movies.
Yeah.
But when I watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space for the first time, I had gained enough awareness at that point to be like, even as a teen or however old I was like, I cannot believe that this exists. Like, even I had that kind of awareness watching that. Like, how did this even get made? I can't believe this exists. So, I guess it was when I was forming more of my movie opinions. I was old enough to be following the news, but still find things that just completely baffled me at that time.
How did this get made? Why does this even exist? Is the tagline for me. All right,
like
so
you, the human.
Yeah, me, just period, just me.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. What's next?
So we'll go back to movies, and we'll do our number 4 movies, most anticipated, and we'll kick it off with Sean once again.
All right, so my number 4 movie pick is Across the Spider-Verse.
That's my number 4 too.
There we go. Let's tag team this one. Super exciting that this is a part 1. It's pretty much a 2-part film that they're splitting off. And it seems like there's going to be a lot in this movie if they have to make kind of another follow-up to it that's almost like a direct continuation. So I'm excited to see all the Spider-Men and women and everything else they're bringing us. It looks like it's bonkers.
Remember when Into the Spider-Verse came out, or when they announced they were making it and the trailer came out, at that time, gosh, what was that, 2018? 2019? I think it was 2018. I can't remember. Regardless, I remember when it came out not being that excited for it. Like, I love Spider-Man, but I just remember thinking like, oh, this is Sony, it's not MCU, and I'll go see this because it's Spider-Man, and then saw it and was just blown away, and it became my number 1 movie of that year. And I've revisited it a few times since, and it's great and holds up every time. And I think it's the first time that, for me, the first time since seeing Toy Story when I was a child, that I was like, animation has been redefined for me. That's how I felt seeing Into the Spider-Verse. So naturally, Across the Spider-Verse is going to have me super hyped. It's my favorite movie of a few years ago. I can't wait for for this sequel. And everything I've seen with the trailers looks great so far.
I mean, they're gonna have the Spot in there, which is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. He's kind of fun to watch. And you got Spider-Man 2099 making a big time appearance. So
voiced by Oscar Isaac.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much they're doing in this movie. It's if you thought the last movie was a 10, this is like going to be like 100 easily. It's just ridiculous how much they're putting in this movie. And they said every like world they go to is a different art style, which is really why it's taking so long. So every world they go into is a completely like brand new, not similar to the last world they're in. So like when they're jumping around, it's totally different art style.
So
yeah.
do
Daniel
drugs
Kaluuya
before I watch it.
is-
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, do that. Or don't. I can't advocate. Daniel Kaluuya voices Spider-Punk.
Yeah,
This
that's a good pick.
Hey, there's so many cameos, so many good voices in this. I'm excited for this movie too. Spider-Man's my boy, and yeah, I can't wait to see this movie as well.
Yorma voices the Vulture. Sweet.
That's gonna be funny.
That is fun.
Well, yeah, that was my number 4 too. So we'll go to Jahan's number 4.
Boom! My number 4 is easy. We don't have to talk about it too much. I'll say a couple things, but it's Gary's number 5. I'm excited for Blue Beetle.
The Beetle.
Interesting. You know, to be honest, I thought that was such a unique pull on Gary's part. I didn't think that'd be on anybody else's list. So I think it's cool that you
I've been
shared that on
excited
yours,
since
too.
I've been excited since they announced it. I'm a huge Blue Beetle fan. I love them. I've read some of the comics. I loved. You get a lot of him in Young Justice if you ever watch that show. If you want some good Blue Beetle action, if you want to learn more about the character and see him a little bit more before the movie, check out Young Justice. I think season 2, which is about the Reach, it kind of centers around Blue Beetle, so you actually get a lot of that Hot Beetle action. Blue Beetle's dope. Gary described it very well. It's like if Iron Man deliberately like made a symbiote and then forced somebody to wear it. Like it's pretty cool.
There are other ones too, right? There's like a Black Beetle, and like they just like show up out of
Yeah, there's a
nowhere
bunch
and
of
like
other
whoop his ass.
scarabs.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I don't know, man. And he can has a morphic suit. They can make all kinds of weapons. Pretty dope. I'm excited. It looks good. I don't know. Like from what I've seen so far, it looks like it's going to be visually exciting. So I'm excited for that one.
Since we already talked about it, I'm not going to add too much more. I'll move on to my number 4, which is an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's coming out in February called Knock at the Cabin. It is based on a book called The Cabin at the End of the World. So there's a family of 3. They're vacationing at their remote cabin. 4 strangers show up and say that they need to sacrifice one of them to prevent the coming apocalypse. The family's trapped inside the house with Batista and 3 other armed people, and they
Ron
have to
Weasley.
they have to decide what they're gonna do.
It's got some
How they're
Rupert
gonna-
Grint in it.
Really?
Yeah, he's one of the 4.
Hell yeah.
He's playing a badass?
See, this movie almost made it on my list too. I am also very excited for this one. I'll watch anything with Batista in it.
Yeah, Batista's puts butts in seats the same way that The Rock used to. Batista's puts butts in seats.
I mean, Batista is like it's not even close. Like when you compare their acting ability, he's such a better actor than The Rock. The Rock doesn't act. The Rock is just The Rock in situations. It's like, oh, I'm The Rock in space. Oh, I'm The Rock in the San Andreas Fault. Look at me. I'm the. You know.
I will admit
Stop
that The
Batista.
Rock seems to have made a whole lot of money in his career based on his range. I was thinking about that recently. He has really good agents, and he's got to just be a really, really friendly guy that people love working with because they're always willing to pay him that much. So he must just really be a joy.
No hate to James The Rock Johnson. No hate.
No
at
hate
all.
to James.
But he has a production company. He's a businessman, though, and he knew his personality was going to be the way to make big bucks.
Either his agent or producing partner is his ex-wife too.
Yes, the business partner, now the leader of the XFL.
So not to throw shade at The Rock because he's really done. He's had a great career.
It's definitely
but
Batista up here, and then where would you put The Rock next or John Cena?
Cena has a lot more to prove still needs a lot more to prove.
He's gotten better. As Peacemaker, like, he changed a lot of my opinions about who he is.
But he needs a serious role. Cena hasn't taken really a serious role yet. He likes being the funny guy, which he does a really he does a good way of doing that. He needs to play like an Ernest movie. It's like
Cena does Christmas or whatever.
Yeah, they have the same face. It's so strange.
I've never thought of that.
Have you seen the interviews that Batista's been doing recently about and his quotes on Guardians Volume 3? Because it's kind of interesting.
What's his last movie?
It's like, he's Batista's interviews are always really interesting because a lot of times it sounds like he's throwing shade, but I think it's really just how he talks. But he basically this is, I'm paraphrasing, obviously I don't have it in front of me, but essentially he was saying, he's kind of happy that Guardians is done. He's kind of tired of playing Drax, that essentially he's liked playing Drax, but it's a silly character, and at the end of the day he's ready to do more dramatic stuff, is what he said. And I'm like, cool, good for you. Like, because he can do dramatic stuff from what I've seen, even in his small parts in like Blade Runner 2049 or things like that. Like, yeah, he's great.
So
he doesn't want to work out anymore. He's tired of working out, to be honest.
He's way older than he looks. He came into WWE in his late 30s. He was already a career bodybuilder before that. So his career, before he started taking all those bumps and hits, was already over. He was already old when he came in. And I've watched a bunch of behind the scenes stuff because I'm a huge wrestling fan. He says that he learned to become a celebrity from Ric Flair and Triple H, and that they taught him how to go from being just a guy or just a face to dressing like a celebrity and acting like a celebrity. And you have to be the part if people are going to buy it. And I think that's sort of what Ric Flair and Triple H sold him on. And you can tell the way he came in and the way he used to be versus the way he is now. He certainly acts different. He's completely composes it. He's composed so calm and collected now. Whereas before he's like a guy who had something to prove. So I'd love to see his career transformation. I'd love to see him do some more serious roles. I think he could. Loved him in Blade Runner. Hated him in Glass Onion. I know that he was supposed to be hateable. But I thought
didn't like Glass Onion, which I think I didn't like Glass Onion.
Did not like Glass Onion. I loved Knives Out. Did not like Glass Onion. Did not like Batista in Glass Onion. But that's the first thing I haven't liked him in. I can't wait to go see Knock at the Cabin, because it's going to be Batista leading a bunch of little cultists, and he's probably going to be very scary and very unsettling. And you'll have to act with your eyes when you act like an insane cultist. So we'll see what he's got.
But the fact that he has like a tucked-in button-up shirt is kind of scary. He seems so normal. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see if he can act. Unhinged is what we're going to look for here. Not necessarily violent and threatening, but sort of unhinged and weird. So we haven't seen him act that way yet. I'm excited. M. Night Shyamalan's definitely had some bombs through his career, though.
I'm not going to get into a Glass Onion debate with y'all, but I loved that movie. And same. Gary, you just went into M. Night, and that's what I was... So actually... I had Knock at the Cabin on my list, and then when I saw it was on Gary's, I took it off because I knew that we would be able to talk about it. And just to talk about the M. Night of it all, like, we all kind of have gone through the phase as people, like, we were all at the prime age and movie watching time of when The Sixth Sense came out and how big of a deal that was. And I feel like we probably all were kind of following M. Night's career and in the ups and downs that kind of came with that, and the super lows of like Avatar: The Last Airbender and so on. However, as an adult now, like, I feel like I get excited whenever a new M. Night Shyamalan movie does come out, regardless, because it's just like, you don't know if you're going to get a good one or not. And even with something like Old, that came out a couple of years ago, like, I thought Old was fine. And I think a lot of that is based on how it ended, because actually that's a movie that I really enjoyed watching up until, like, just kind of wondering where it was going to go. And then it ended and you're like, oh, okay. So anyway, it's just like I'm at that point now where anytime M. Night's doing something, I'm going to get excited for it regardless of quality.
He lost me with The Village, I'll tell you that. And then he completely lost me with Village. Avatar. And then now with
Avatar was dog shit.
Yeah, so he lost me twice, and then only excited for this new movie because of Batista, to be honest. If Batista was in this movie,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't give two shits.
So I love The Village, but I hated Lady in the Water. I thought it was just like the worst thing that could ever happen. And then, of course, The Last Airbender. There's no one that wants to defend that. But Old, I didn't love, but I'm with Drew. If M. Night Shyamalan's making a sandwich, I want to take a bite. I don't know if it's going to be good, but I'm going to take a bite and see what that sandwich is all about. I can also say that this is not an original M. Night Shyamalan script. It's based off of a book, so there is that. It's a successful book series, so maybe it'll give him a little bit more power. And he also said this is the fastest he's ever written a script in his entire life. For better or worse, we'll find out.
Oh, God.
And here's the thing with M. Night, like, say what you will, a lot of the problem is that, he's written his own stories and sometimes you get varying degrees of quality. But as a filmmaker, he's an excellent filmmaker. Like, as far as the actual technique and
the quality of films are like how they look on screen are great.
Yes. So at least you're going to get something that looks good, which is...
He's one of my favorite Robot Chicken skits. When he pops up on, what a twist!
What a twist! All right, let's get off of M. Night Shyamalan's dick, Drew. Tell me about your number 4 upcoming favorite show for 2023.
Works. I'll start off TV shows since Sean and I shared the same movie. So my number 4 TV show. So this is kind of ironic because my number 5 was a Marvel series with Secret Invasion, and my number 4 is a Marvel series. I'm going with Loki season 2 that is supposed to come out this year. And here's the thing, when the first season of Loki actually came out and I was watching it in real time, I had a lot of friends or people online were really high on it, and I was like, hey, it's okay, like it's fine. And I was a little underwhelmed by it, but by the end of it, I feel like the whole complete package of it, I really enjoyed the ride and what they built with it. So the fact that we're going to get a second season and jump right into that with some of these characters that now have been established, I'm really excited for whatever kind of wonky things that they can do with Loki season 2. So that's why I have opted to put it at the number 4 spot on my list.
It's a good pick. I felt the first season of Loki was weak. I felt like they could have dived more into this multiverse thing, a little bit more outside of Loki characters themselves. But apparently this opens the door. Season 2 opens the door to a lot more stuff we're going to see in the future phases of MCU. I think that's how Deadpool and Wolverine get together somehow, with Loki and Mobius are going to be in that movie, apparently.
Jean Grey.
There's a lot of... Huh?
I hear Jean Grey is going to be there as well.
There's going to be a lot of stuff. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be exciting to see what Season 2 of Loki actually brings and sets up.
I'm all in on Season 2.
I love Tom Hiddleston's Loki, and there's like not a part for that character in the Marvel universe right now. He just doesn't really make sense in a storyline. So I love that he exists just outside the storyline as a plot-telling device. I think the show works great, and I think keeping Tom Hiddleston around as Loki is just awesome. I love Loki. Can't wait to see more of it. They could make Loki for like 20 seasons and just use it as a sidebar story device, and you'd never get a complaint from me.
I'd be happy about it. I love season 1. I love Owen Wilson in it. It's pretty great. I don't know. They found the right part for him, I guess. And I really like the season 1 a lot. And so I'm very excited. It almost made my list as well. It was an honorable mention for me.
Well, then we'll kick it back to Sean for his number 4 most anticipated TV show of 2023.
All right, I gotta go with the Ahsoka series. Super excited to see what that brings us. I need more Star Wars. I watched Andor and I wasn't really satisfied. I need lightsabers. I'm sorry, but I just need them. So super excited to see what Ahsoka shows up. Hopefully we get some flashbacks. That'll be really fun too. But I just need lightsabers in my Star Wars shows.
I'm excited for that one too. But I actually really liked Andor a lot. I was very high.
I have Ahsoka as an honorable mention. And I've really liked Rosario Dawson in her appearances in the other shows so far as Ahsoka, so that has me excited for it. But I was not a Clone Wars guy. Like, I haven't watched all that series, so I don't have those same ties to the Ahsoka character. But still, I'm hoping that doesn't matter. I'm hoping that I'll be able to watch the show and enjoy it for what it is without needing all of the Ahsoka background.
Just as a concept, Darth Vader's Jedi Padawan is a cool character concept. So, like, I'm all in. I definitely want to see it.
It's also Rosario Dawson. It's like America's, like one of our America's top 5 sweethearts, maybe. Rosario Dawson's the shiznit, man. I'm not that excited for the show, but like you said, I need lightsabers in my Star Wars, so I'm gonna watch this because it's gonna have lightsabers in it.
It's fair. My number 4 most anticipated TV show of this year, 2023. Man, you guys are gonna make fun of me. Wolfpack on Paramount Plus. It is a TV show about werewolves, starring Sarah Michelle Gellar. And, they said all the right words, and, like, so it popped up in my brain, Google search, and, like, I'm in. I'm in on it.
It's weird that you would say they said all of the right words, because they didn't say any of the right words. Paramount Plus, werewolf show, Sarah Michelle Gellar, that's gonna be bad.
I'm excited.
This isn't related to the Teen Wolf stuff. Is this a standalone?
It's made by the same guy.
Yeah, so they have a Teen Wolf movie coming up with the MTV actors and stuff like that, but I saw they've been plugging Wolfpack, and so it's getting a lot of buzz. Apparently it has a pretty good cast, and you got Sarah Michelle Gellar in there, so that's a win already.
I'll give it a shot.
There's a trailer for this. I have not seen the trailer.
There's a trailer, yeah. I'll definitely give it a shot. That's the one I'm excited for. I didn't expect a lot of follow-up conversation, I'll just say that. But, hey, I like what I like.
I also don't expect a lot of follow-up from my number 4 most anticipated show. Mine is Velma on HBO Max. This is a TV MA reimagining of Velma from the Scooby-Doo series. And from the trailer, it looks like she is a black lesbian. She may not be black, it may just be the lighting, but it looks like she's black now. Doesn't bother me. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Indian.
She's
Indian. There you go.
Yeah, it's Mindy Kaling.
That's
Mindy
yes.
Kaling voice.
I guess that's what I should have said, right? She's a person of color now. Certainly, she's not just a white girl, which doesn't change the character at all. The other characters, you've got Fred, Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and AP Bio. So famously just a really hateable comedian who's always really cringy and awful. So I'm looking forward to a really hateable, stupid dipshit Fred who thinks that he's better than everyone and tries to mansplain everything to Velma. And I'm looking forward to this sort of focus on her character and an adult comedy version of Scooby-Doo. The only character who I don't know is in it is Scooby. I'm not sure if there's a
Scooby.
Not sure if there's
Scooby
a
is not allowed. He's not allowed in the show.
You've got Shaggy, you've got Freddy, you've got Daphne, but no Scoob.
Fortunately,
but Shaggy's not been called Shaggy. What's his real name? He's called
Yeah, he is called something else.
Yeah, he's called his actual name, Norbert, right?
Norb. I think it's just Norb, maybe.
Norville.
Yeah, that's right.
Norville. Yeah. I've been hearing a lot of okay things about this show, so I want to know what you think when you finally watch it. If it's
these adult comedies, I watch all of them because there's a million a year, and there are so many misses. There's so few hits. I think one of the biggest problems with these types of show is the pacing of jokes. If you have a show like this and it's just joke, it will not work. It'll fall apart and it'll be annoying. You have to space it out, have a plot, and have character development in your comedy shows. People still want substance, so I'll report back. Based on what I've seen about this show, it looks kind of like the Harley Quinn HBO Max show. I get a lot of the same vibes from that.
That's what I was going to ask, actually. I was like, is this supposed to be like the Harley Quinn version, or, equivalent in the Scooby-Doo universe? Because it is an adult animated show that's going to be on HBO, from Warner. So you can't help but make the comparison.
I think there is a little bit of comparison there to be made. I think that's fair. And even in the trailer for the show, they show a knife and blood all over the window, like if somebody gets stabbed. So there is going to be some sort of violence in the show also, like Harley Quinn.
They're solving actual murders now.
So it's I think it's gonna struggle to find its feet in the first season, but I think there will be a second season, and that's just guessing going into this.
I honestly don't think there'll be a second season with the shake.
Oh, no.
There. I think that they're not going to be like, yeah, we did it. It's not something we want to move forward with because with the new leadership and
there's also
everything
that huge shakeup at HBO. You're right. So just because it is made doesn't mean it will continue to get made.
Yeah, they just got to put it out there since it's already made.
I have zero faith
stuff up.
in anything that they put the HBO mark on these days. It all, they're just fire sailing it also. But I am excited for this one too. I hope, I'm not sure if they're doing supernatural stuff too, but I hope it's actual supernatural hijinks and murders.
I think there's a place in this world for a TVMA/rated R Scooby-Doo reimagining.
Same.
I think there's a place for that. I don't know if Velma is it, but I do think that Scooby-Doo fans would watch an Adult Swim Scooby-Doo.
I just want my my Scoop sequel that got canned last year. The sequel to Scooby
right.
was like
it was part of that same dump with Batgirl.
Yeah, they were done with it too. It was supposed to come. It was like a holiday sequel, and
I'm waiting for the Scrappy Doo solo film personally.
Well, if there's no Scoob sequel, there's no Scrappy Doo solo movie. Come on, he's definitely not going to get any love.
It's like somewhere in the HBO fortress that there's just like a shelf hidden somewhere with Batgirl and the Scoob sequel, like Blu-ray discs, just on a shelf somewhere hidden behind.
Whenever the four of us plan a heist, that will be the heist. We're gonna go in and get Batgirl and Scoob. That's what we're gonna heist.
You hear that, Netflix? Kaleidoscope season 2. They're gonna. That's gonna be the season 2 of Kaleidoscope. Us 4.
It's also kind of the plot to Fanboys, but
so that will put it back in Sean's court, and now we're off of shows and onto number 4 anticipated game of the year.
All right.
Tie.
So I got Street Fighter 6.
Yes.
It's a good pick.
I like fighting games. I love Street Fighter. I love my Mortal Kombat. So I'm excited to see Street Fighter getting a proper next installment, and it looks really good, and can't wait to see what characters, if they add any new characters.
Street Fighter is an absolute, hands down, no questions asked classic. That's an absolutely great pick. I'm just dog crap at fighting games, so it's not on my list. But what a classic. Street Fighter is top tier, god level fighting game.
Just tap that control all over your head and just see what buttons you can just hit.
I'm not the biggest Street Fighter guy. My brother-in-law likes it a lot. I want to give it a shot when this comes out. But I think I go Mortal Kombat, Tekken, then Street Fighter. I think that's my hierarchy.
Street Fighter was first for me. I don't know. Street Fighter was my first welcoming into introduction to that world of fighting games with Sega Genesis 2. Tekken was really cool. I do like the characters in Tekken. But Mortal Kombat just was
I like
next
Mortal Kombat
level.
more, but I think Tekken is probably the best fighting game in my opinion. But no hate to Street Fighter. Street Fighter is good.
Well, Tekken had really cool camera angles.
Yeah.
I think if you play enough Tekken, you can actually learn to fight in real life.
That's what I'm thinking too. They showed some really legit moves and
the thing with Tekken
every angle.
Is one button is your right arm, one's your left arm, one's your left leg, one's your right leg. So to do your combos, you have to make sure your feet are planted and make sure your body's in the right position. So Tekken combos are based on timing, character movement, and remembering what arms and feet to use. But the other games are based on ABY combo, which may or may not shoot a fireball, which has nothing to do with your kick or your fist.
I mean, fair.
So you can almost actually learn to fight from Tekken if you pay attention to timing and what limbs move.
Well, I mean, they should offer it for the PSVR too if they could do that. I have a Meta Quest and there's a boxing workout, and you're getting real moves and you're sweating and stuff. So Street Fighter on the PSVR 2 would be sick.
I can't wait for the videos of parents accidentally punching their kids in the face. I look forward to
it. Or doing the Hadouken and just hitting somebody.
Right out the window. All right, Drew, what's your number 4 most anticipated game of 2023?
Well, Gary, I'm glad that you asked, because if your list is as you have it here, we share the same number 4, which is Suicide
Squad, Kill the Justice League.
League.
Honorable mention on my list. Yeah.
My list,
So
guys. That was my number one.
Really?
What's
That was-
that?
yeah. No,
I
good
have
pick,
a-
guys. Yeah, it's awesome. Like, what a premise.
This
Yeah,
is the
go
one I
ahead.
had a fun factoid before the podcast. I had a fun fact of this one that was like bubbling in my stomach, and I wanted to get it out. This is Kevin Conroy's last Batman performance.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
the last
I forgot
time he
about
ever
that.
recorded Batman. So I will buy this game.
Heartbreaking. Me too.
I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it for that reason. And I think that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is going to be just as bad as Gotham Knights or worse
Oh,
because
I hope not. Don't say that. Do not say that.
they gave me that expectation. I didn't create that. They did that to themselves.
Is it? It's not the same company though, right?
It's not. It's not.
It's-
So
Good.
Rocksteady did the Arkham
Yeah.
trilogy: Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, and they actually did Arkham VR as well for the PSVR and so on. But they handed off the Gotham Knights to another studio, and they've been hard at work on the Suicide Squad game for a long time. Because for a long time, before it was announced that they were doing it, a lot of people thought they were making a Superman game. Like, that was the heavily rumored thing, was that Rocksteady had transitioned from Batman, they were working on a Superman game, and then rumors started to swirl that no, it wasn't that it was a Suicide Squad game. And we finally got that unveiled, about 2 years ago? They probably officially announced it. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was this supposed to come out last year or in 2022 and then got delayed? I feel like
think
that
so.
maybe is the case.
And it's an open world sandbox shooter that takes place in Metropolis. So I bet that's why people early on thought it was going to be a Superman game, because it's a sandbox Metropolis game. Well, what would you think? I'd have been all over Superman.
See, so I actually have high hopes for this game. I think it's going to be good. It looks good. I
Four
don't know.
playable characters.
Yeah, 4 playable characters.
Rocksteady has not disappointed me so far. I've loved all the Arkham games. And so yeah, this is like just Rocksteady's name on it alone justifies
The
a day
Arkham
one
games are
purchase for me.
fantastic. Absolutely. Some of the best
And I
superhero
wish we
games
got
ever made.
another one. Like, the Arkham games were one of my favorite video games I ever played. It's the only games that really got me to play the video games lately as I became an adult, when I started getting away from being a gamer. But those are the games that brought me back in, were the Arkham games.
Who are you guys going to play? The 4 characters are Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and King Shark.
Deadshot.
Oh, King Shark for sure. Garrett, you know who voices King Shark in this game, right?
Oh,
Is it Ron
Samoa?
Funches?
Is it Samoa Joe?
It is. It
Okay.
is Samoa Joe.
So Samoa Joe, I know you guys aren't the biggest wrestling marks. This dude has a voice. The first time I ever heard Samoa Joe cut a bad guy promo, I was like, man, when this guy's done wrestling, he should be a voice actor. He is getting older. He's wrestling part-time now. Less he's wrestling with AEW instead of WWE, which I guess has opened up his schedule enough to do some voice acting.
Hell yeah.
Samoa Joe just he's got a voice, man. An absolutely menacing, brutal, terrifying voice.
Who you
Me?
play, Doug? Yeah.
I'm going Captain Boomerang. I want a gun that,
Dang.
I want a gun that comes back.
Okay.
Is this online gameplay? Because if we're picking different characters, Jahan, who you got?
So I was going to go Captain Boomerang or Harley Quinn, depending on which one was open. So it sounds like we got all 4.
Hmm
So can we, if this is online gameplay, let's play.
Yeah, let's
It
definitely
will
play.
be. It's online for
Oh, we can
Windows,
stream it.
PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS.
Is it cross-platform or no?
Probably not, I would guess. I don't see it anywhere. Yeah.
I'll get it for PlayStation 4 that I have.
I don't know if it would be for PlayStation 4. It's listed as PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox XS.
Well, then I'm screwed.
Yeah, I think you might be
Well, I'm
screwed.
in for it.
Where Drew, Jahan, and I, each one of us owns an X or S, one of those series. We'll be able to slap it, but
Yeah,
Sean,
grab an S. They're real cheap right now.
it sounds like we are going to have a CPU Deadshot running around controlled by an AI because Sean's not going to be with us.
We can call him Sean, though.
Yeah,
That's
let's rename him in
true.
the game.
Just
Yeah.
call it Sean. So that takes it for, that's mine and Drew's.
That's yours and Drew's. My number 4. Man, all right. I know. Okay, just leave me alone about it. My number 4 is called The Day Before. All right, it is a open world.
Oh, is it a Christmas game? Is it happen on Christmas Eve?
I wish. This is the Violent Night video game. No, it is a open world MMO zombie survival game, and it looks really good. I think it's made by the same people that did The Division, or no, it uses the same system as The Division, which is like called Raindrop or something. But it looks really cool. I'm really excited for it, and I hope someone plays with me. I don't know, but I'll play by myself if I have to, because you know me. I have particular taste.
Is it just like another zombie game in a city? Is it just like the same old thing, or what?
It looks better. Looks better executed, because a lot of those zombies in the city game are poorly executed. Like, this one actually looks like it has good controls, good graphics, good gameplay. And it's not just zombies that are going to be running around. There's going to be NPC, like, people with guns shooting at you. And you're going to be playing on a server with other people, so there's going to be that. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to try it.
Is it... Okay, so I played Division. Division's not really like a building crafting survival game so much. You're not like building a house out of...
I don't think this is either. I think it just has the survival mechanics.
Interesting. I'll definitely take a look at this. You know, I'm kind of on the fence about survival games. I don't like to spend more time trying to drink water and eat food than I do shooting zombies. If I'm going to play games, I want to shoot zombies, not just eat candy bars in a corner. That's not so fun for me. So yeah, I'll definitely keep my ear open about that. That's a good pick.
Thanks. That's games.
That's games that's back around to the top.
Here's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna cut it there. We're gonna take a quick little breather, and then we're gonna come back and do our top 3s of everything. I believe we've been recording. Has it been a little over an hour? I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna take a quick little breather. And then with our next episode, we will do our number 3, 2, and 1 of each category.
Hells yes.
With that, this has been episode 71 of Fresh Out the Podcast. I'm Drew Munhausen, at Drew Munhausen on Twitter. And, and I want to make sure, Sean, where can everybody find you?
Just check out nerd-tropolis.com for all your movie news, reviews, interviews, and trailers.
I'm Johanan. I'm at RockFact on Twitter.
It's me, Casualty CDG. You can find me at Casualty CDG on all the social media platforms. If you like our voices and you want to hear Jahan and I telling stories, we do storytelling games every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at twitch.tv/Johananon. We also have a YouTube and a Facebook that's Fresh Out the Box. It's Fresh Out the Box, TTRPG. We play all sorts of new games with all sorts of new people. We're always trying to have a laugh and have a good time. So come check out our stories, either just for inspiration or just for a good laugh. And then don't forget to tell everybody about Fresh Out the Podcast. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for being here every Sunday for the new episode. We got our stats, our numbers back from last year, and they were just fantastic. We love you guys so much, and thank you for your support from all over the world.
Thank you, everybody, and stay fresh.
trash out the box. Fresh out the box. Fresh out the box. Fresh out the box.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Fresh Out the Podcast, the greatest podcast that we've ever been on. I am the board game guru and game master extraordinaire, Johananon.
It's me, Casualty CDG, the co-host of Fresh Out the Box and Fresh Out the Podcast. I'm so happy to be here, Jahan. And you're right, this is the freshest podcast since sliced Swiss cheese. So, cover me in cheese and call me your newborn baby boy. I'm happy to be here and talk about my top 3 for 2023.
Yeah.
What an intro. I am the professional media and movie mastermind, the Funhouse, Drew Munhausen, and once again, the mayor of Nerdtropolis is here to finish out our top 5 lists. It's Sean Tajpour. Sean, how are you?
I'm doing good. Like I said, you're not getting rid of me.
And I know we kind of cut it off last week with these top 5 lists, but we are back and we're ready to jump straight back into them where we left off. and we will start with our number 3 most anticipated film of 2023. And I will kick it to Sean to kick it off. Sean, your number 3 most anticipated movie of 2023.
All right, for me, that movie is going to be Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah.
Super excited to see this follow-up to Bumblebee. Let's see how they're going to reshape this Transformers Bay franchise. Give me Beast Wars, guys. Beast Wars. I'm excited to see the Primals and Maximals, all the stuff that we grew up on the big screen.
Gary, don't shake your head. Come on, man. Have you seen this
Transformers
trailer?
movie has been terrible. And Beast Wars took place on like Mars. There were no people around.
Beast Wars
What-
took place on like ancient Earth, I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were no people around. What is happening?
There were no people around. That's true. It is very different from the Beast
Well, they're
Wars show.
still they're around, and now they're like awake or something now. Who knows? But we'll
Gary,
see.
stop trying to rationalize when and where the giant robots that turn into animals
And
are.
you see the last one when there was like the planet mothership and they were like floating in the air and all the crap was falling back down to the planet and they were in the sky fighting. That's just, it's all so bad now.
Did you watch Bumblebee? Did you watch Bumblebee?
No, I didn't. No.
Watch
I
it.
did
Watch
not.
and get back to me. That's
Dude.
gonna change your mind. I'm gonna tell you.
There's no way.
Bumblebee,
I guarantee you,
Bumblebee
you're gonna
was-
shift a little bit in favor of
much
Transformers
better.
after that movie.
I do
It's
like
Haley
that pun that I'm
Steinfeld
gonna
and John
shift.
Cena.
I'm gonna shift a little bit on Transformers.
Yeah, it has John
after
Cena in
Bumblebee.
it, and Haley. What's her last name?
Haley Steinfeld.
Steinfeld.
So it
It's in
doesn't
the
have.
80s.
So
It's in
it
the
doesn't have Mark Wahlberg, is what you're telling me.
Yes, but it has John Cena.
It has John Cena.
I would rather watch John Cena every day of the week than ever watch another Mark Wahlberg anything.
Then
Maybe
I highly recommend Bumblebee.
Okay, I'll watch Bumblebee, and I'm gonna blame it on you because I haven't, and you're the reason I'm doing it. This is coming.
I'm excited for when he
mean,
comes back and he says
I-
it wasn't that bad.
I am coming for you, Mayor of Nerdtropolis. I'm gonna watch Bumblebee. You're gonna hear
Come at
about
me,
it.
bro. Come at me. You don't see me.
I'm in the same boat as Gary. I also think that the Transformers movies are trash, but Bumblebee was significantly better, and Beast Wars actually looks pretty good.
Will not be blinded by nostalgia, though I loved Beast Wars. I will not buy into this crap again.
They were also the superior.
Jahan.
toys. Oh, that's me.
I love Beast Wars toys. Yeah, I'm gonna kick it to you for your number 3.
My number 3.
Number
We're on
3
3 already. All right, mine is. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be on any of your lists, but maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is my number 3. I'm pretty excited. It's going to kick off a whole new generation of Marvel movies. It's going to be dope. They're going to go to the Quantum Verse. They're going to do some high concept, high sci-fi shenanigans. They're going to meet King the Conqueror. All in. I'm very excited for this one. I think it's going to be one of the better MCU films. Just period.
Phase
Agree.
5 is looking great, and we could thank Ant-Man for going to kick it off. So super excited for that.
Super excited.
I agree with you 100%. The only Marvel movie that made my list was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It is my number 1 most anticipated movie of the year because I think that Quantumania is going to slap. Plus, it gets an extra 65 points because it comes out on my birthday, and that notches it just up enough to come out on number 1 most anticipated movie of the year for me.
I feel like right now, and I think that the trailers for this look great.
Yeah.
I am super excited for Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
But just, I think with my overall reception for everything that was Phase 4, I am cautiously optimistic. I couldn't put it on my list. I couldn't do it, despite the fact that I am genuinely looking forward to
Completely
it.
fair. Phase 4 was kind of lackluster, and I totally understand that. But this one I think is going to bring it around, and I'm excited. Gary number 3? Gary muted number 3?
I'll talk about my number 3.
Yeah.
I was clacking my keyboard, so I didn't want you guys to hear it.
Yeah.
My number 3 most anticipated movie of 2023 is Dune 2. I'm actually not a huge fan of Dune, and I can't explain why. I think the movie is well acted. I think it's absolutely every single shot looks like a freaking movie poster, and it's just gorgeous. It's just a beautiful cinematography film. And so I can't wait for Dune 2. I want to see more of those giant set pieces that really make you feel like you're in a different world. Some of those colossal set pieces and ships they used I thought were really cool. It didn't remind me of Starship Troopers or Alien or Halo or anything like that. It was specifically Dune. They really have an aesthetic, a sci-fi aesthetic that felt really original and new without being cheesy. I think that's hard to do in this day and age. I think Dune is great. I wish I liked Dune more, like I said, but I think Dune 2 is going to absolutely be more of the same. Great acting, great cinematography, huge set pieces. Can't wait to sit down and spend 8 hours of my life watching Dune 2.
Sick.
I think that's when the action hits too, as a sequel. Really, that's where it really picks up. You gotta get the first movie out of the way, and then just get into the bigger storyline.
And it's so weird to me that this potentially, Dune 2 could have not ever been made if Dune 1 didn't do well. So we may have never gotten this movie. And so now I'm excited that we do get it. I feel like we live in the good multiverse because there's another multiverse out there where they didn't get the second Dune. So we wound up on the good path. We wound up on the one with another Dune. Good for us.
Yep. I'm excited for this one too. It's on my honorable mentions.
Dune Part 1 managed to do pretty well even at the box office, considering it was part of that released the same day and date on HBO Max as in theaters, and it still managed to make a decent amount of money. So Dune Part 2, I assume, will be in theaters only, and hopefully it'll do really well. Gary, I actually moved this one off my list as well when I saw it was on yours, because, I mean, of course, we did a whole episode dedicated to the first Dune when it came out, and I'm sure we'll be all on top of this one, but even the new additions to the cast, like Florence Pugh is going to be in this one, Austin Butler, who is Austin Butler is like hot on the Oscar trail right now for playing Elvis. Like he is a front runner and contender. Christopher
Human
Walken's
Torch
gonna
too.
Be,
give him as Human Torch.
Christopher Walken's going to be in Dune Part 2. Leah Seydoux. And they just announced that Tim Blake Nelson is in it in an undisclosed role. So it's going to be some fun additions. And I just realized, just reading the Wikipedia page for it, that they finished filming it. They wrapped filming on December 12th. So Dune Part 2 is it is all filmed. So I'm just hoping that they're able to get all the special effects work done and that it'll still make its release date for November of this year, because I think they can do it.
I think I heard
I'm
you
looking
say
forward to
Christopher Walken.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I wish I was better at doing the Christopher Walken impression, because I want to hear him go, fear is the mind killer. Like,
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
I really want to hear the spice.
He plays the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yes, he's the Emperor. That is awesome.
You're gonna go to Arrakis because the spice. If you control the spice,
When you get to Arrakis, you have to play ping pong.
ping pong.
John, your Walken was pretty good.
Yeah,
John.
that was pretty
It was
darn
okay.
good.
All right, good.
Last time he played the Emperor, we got Balls of Fury, so let's just hope his performance is a bit more convincing.
No, Balls of Fury was perfect.
That's the character he's gonna play, exactly the same.
Oh my god! All right.
I was also gonna say, for those tabletop role-playing fans out there, Jahan and I played the Dune tabletop role-playing game by Modifius Games. We have I think it's a 10 or 12 episode
10
maybe
episode shot. Yeah.
10 episode shot on our YouTube. Where there's some treacherous, backstabbing lying towards the end of the campaign. It gets pretty nasty, as all things Dune can go nasty if you make deals with the wrong side. So that was a lot of fun. I can imagine us doing another Dune 10-shot when Dune 2 comes out.
That'd be fun. Judy, you have a number 3?
I do. So my number 3 is a movie called Beau is Afraid. It was formerly called Disappointment Boulevard, but they did just recently announce that the title is Beau is Afraid. And this is the new film from Ari Aster, who's the guy who did Hereditary and then did Midsommar, which are two movies that I loved. I loved Hereditary and I loved Midsommar even more. So Ari Aster is kind of proving himself to be like this new kind of modern, elevated horror director, and so he's with just those first two films, he's become I'll go see whatever he puts out. And little is known about Beau is Afraid. There's not like a trailer or anything for it yet. They've just released posters for it, but it stars Joaquin Phoenix. And the premise, at least on Wikipedia, says Beau is Afraid is described as a decade-spanning surrealist horror film set in an alternate present in which Joaquin Phoenix plays an extremely anxious but pleasant-looking man who has a fraught relationship with his overbearing mother and never knew his father. When his mother dies, he makes a journey home that involves some wild supernatural threats.
Oh, that sounds good.
That does sound good.
Expect it to be weird and scary and funny and everything, and so I am really looking forward to Beau is Afraid.
It's an A24 film too, so that's going to be nice for them to. I think it's going to do really well.
Yeah, this is right now scheduled for release on April 14th of this year.
You'll have to remind me
Beau is
about
Afraid.
that because I'll forget the name of that, and that date will slip right by me. But I would like to see that. I like Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's one of the best living actors right now.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
argue
he is
that.
fantastic.
He's very good, yeah.
I believe he's also supposed to be in Ridley Scott's Napoleon movie that's coming out this year. I think Joaquin Phoenix is playing Napoleon Bonaparte.
Yeah, I can
That's
see
good.
that too. Yeah, he kind of looks. He's got the
He
look.
does have the look. That's true. Interesting.
He looked Napoleon-esque in Gladiator.
Hmm.
What a great movie. Does
Shows.
that bring us to shows? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Oh.
TV shows. Sean, what is your number 3 most anticipated TV show of 2023?
I got my fingers crossed that Sean's going to have the same one as me right here. We haven't lined up yet, but I think this will be it.
I don't know, the Acolyte, the Star Wars show, the Acolyte.
Huh.
That is coming out this year, and there's not much to it, but the cast is really good. If I can pull it up real quick, but
Which one is Acolyte?
I haven't heard of this one.
There's the Skeleton Crew show or Acolyte, and I can't remember which one's which.
Skeleton
Skeleton
Crew's on
Crew is
my
the one
honorable mention.
with Jude Law.
Okay.
Skeleton
Acolyte
Crew has been described as Stranger Things in the Star Wars universe, and that's all we know about it. So it's on my honorable mention because I don't know whether we should be excited for that or not. It sounds cool, but that's not enough information.
No, but the Acolyte is supposed to take place at the end of the High Republic, and it has the guy from Squid Game, which is super exciting.
Yeah. That's
Oh
cool.
yeah,
It has-
Lee Jung Jae's in this.
So is Daphne
Yeah.
Keene. Interesting.
Yeah, Daphne Keene is in it, and there's not really much about it, but I think it's be dark and mysterious and really fun, and better be lightsabers.
I wonder if it's about like the ancient Sith. That'd be cool.
You know, I saw this on some lists of upcoming, and I really didn't look into it. But now that I'm reading about the premise, like you said, Sean, set at the end of the High Republic, shadowy secrets,
Oh,
emerging
okay.
dark side powers, set 100 years before the Phantom Menace. A former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. That sounds super fun. That
Yeah, it
sounds
leans
like the
into
type
that
of Star
dark
Wars
side
show
stuff.
that I've been waiting for.
That sounds
Exactly.
like some Sith stuff. It sounds like more lightsabers because this is before Jedi or Sith have been wiped off existence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is what we need. We needed to get away from the Skywalkers. This is 100 years before them, and with more Sith and Jedi. Let's go. Let's get it.
I'll watch this. This sounds cool. Definitely. Good pick.
Good pick, Sean. Hell yeah.
Good pick. My number 3 show, also Star Wars. I'm pretty excited for the new season of The Mandalorian. Dun-na-na, dun-na-na. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I mean, season 1 was great. Season 2 was fantastic. And then the parts of Book of Boba Fett with the Mando were out of control. And so I have high hopes for season 3. They're going to be battling over Mandalore, the throne, and who knows what else, man. There's going to be some Bo-Katan action, some dark lightsaber action. It's going to be dope. I'm excited.
This is why you guys should have turned in your homework on the same homework sheet, because we could have planned this better. Because Mando is my number one most anticipated show of 2023. I think that all the Star Wars shows that we watch are being compared to Mando. I think Mandalorian came out hard. It came out slapping. Mandalorian is awesome. And because of that, everything else has seemed lackluster. Obi-Wan just wasn't enough. Book of Boba was fine, but it made me hungry for more Mando. That's all it did. And then it turned out really it was more like Mando 1.5. It was a lot of Mando story anyways. I thought that was clever for them to hide the title from us that way. But give me more Mando. Keep it coming. This is Disney's Star Wars show. I think this is their flagship Star Wars show. Iconic characters, brand new ships. This is how you do it. Keep Mando going.
Mandalorian Season 3 is also my number one. So, there we have it.
It's number 3 for me.
And you know what's funny? I was listening to something recently. I can't remember what it was. I listened to too many podcasts myself. But some people were talking about the Book of Boba Fett like as if it was a garbage season of TV, and I just don't agree with that. Like, I understand that there were maybe some parts of it that were lackluster, and it really just ended up being a bridge from Mandalorian Season 2 to Season 3, because really it set up more for the Mandalorian than anything else. But I liked that season of TV, and I'm glad that it exists. But man, I just have a feeling that with Mandalorian being kind of the flagship Star Wars show right now, there's no Star Wars movies or anything planned right now or like really in the works. Like, Mandalorian basically is the flagship Star Wars property that exists right now. So I feel like they know how big and how good it has to be. I don't think that they'll let us down. I think that Mandalorian Season 3 is going to slap.
They figured out what people want. We want Mandalorians, we want lightsabers, and we want Baby Yodas.
Dark blades.
That's why they gave us an episode on Boba Fett. They're like, okay, just to make Boba Fett better, here you go.
No, you guys remember when he rode on the Rancor?
Yes.
Oh, that was nasty. Danny Trejo was the Rancor guy.
Oh, man, I did forget Danny Trejo
that
was in there.
Straight up watched Danny Trejo sell a Rancor to Boba Fett. That happened on TV in my life. Again, we live in a good timeline for streaming shows. Some good stuff going on.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Drew. I think that people do treat Book of Boba like it was a failure. But I don't think it was. I think the whole point of it was to be surprised. It's still Mandalorian story. Like, we fooled you with we made a few stories about Boba Fett, but it's actually about Mando. I think that was the point, and I think it was beautiful, well crafted. They did a great job with it. I love what Book of Boba was.
I thought it was pretty good. The only thing that I really had a problem with was the Power Ranger mopeds.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was all very weird. They were like a half-baked concept that never got.
It was too
fully
colorful
fleshed out.
at times. I feel
You mean
like
those colors that have literally never existed in Mos Eisley ever before, that they're just all of a sudden on screen for the first time?
Yeah, that was odd. That color palette they used, it's just so glossy. It was just weird. It was just too shiny.
It was candy paint, man. It had glitter in it. Like, what the hell? Why are they putting glitter in their mopeds? Those things would be so stolen by Tusken Raiders or Jawas by now, it's not even funny. Those bikes would be gone.
That was very odd. But yeah, that was actually going to be my Mandalorian Season 3 was going to be my number 2.
Nice. So we all have Mando up there at the top.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. That is a great show.
Is that the first one we've had that has been universal on all 4 of our lists at some point?
I think so. So far, yeah.
Nice. Well,
Good pick for number 3, Jahan. My number 3 most anticipated TV show is Echo on Disney Plus. I think that Echo is a Daredevil show. And I think before they announced that they were going to do Charlie Cox Daredevil, they penciled it in, wrote the character into Echo, did a little She-Hulk appearance, and I think it's going to fit beautifully as a way to introduce Kingpin and Daredevil and any of those other Marvel Knights characters they want to play with.
But have you announced an actual Daredevil show?
Yes, they have.
18 episodes.
I still think this is going to be... Oh, and Charlie Cox was saying, please watch the Daredevil show. He said this might be his last chance. So Charlie Cox is feeling like they might not continue with him if the Daredevil show is not a hit.
I don't
I
believe
think it
They'll
will
just-
be.
They'll bring him into the
I don't
movies.
think that they're gonna have a problem.
I don't
No.
either.
I don't think it'll be.
I think Echo is going to be half and half. Half about Daredevil, half, but also like a backstory about Echo, more dive into her past as well.
Yes.
So it's going to be a half and half, I think, set up for that.
I completely agree, and I think that's going to be a really cool show. I like that tone of Marvel, the kind of street level crime. It's a little bit more real for me to chew on than Ultron robots taking over the whole world. Like I don't really. It's hard for me to put myself in those shoes. You know, when there's an alien invasion in New York. Like okay, that's.
And we've talked about this before. Did you like Hawkeye?
I initially, when it was on, I didn't, but when it was over, I was like, "Damn, that was really good."
The street, I like just how it was. It's kind of more grounded too at the same time.
I
And
loved Hawkeye.
yeah,
I always read like Punisher books and Luke Cage books and stuff of street level heroes. Those are my guys. I'm not all about the world ending Supermans and Brainiacs of the world. So I'm looking forward to Echo for sure. I think it's going to have just more about Wilson Fisk, more about Kingpin, and I love that Kingpin portrayal from Vincent D'Onofrio. I can't get enough of that villain. So it's just got all the things I like, all mixed up, man. And they are going to, like I said, they could use this as a vehicle to introduce more of those Marvel Knights level characters who are my favorite anyways. So I've got my eyes on Echo. I'm looking forward to the cameos. I'm looking forward to the fights, the villains. This is my show. This one's built for me.
I'm excited.
This
for
is
it, too.
like a random question, and it's mostly for Sean because I feel like he has the best chance here. Sean, did you watch Treason, that new limited series that's on Netflix that Charlie Cox is in?
I haven't watched it yet. I hear it's not bad at all. I did post about it. I haven't been able to watch it, but I was surprised. I didn't know he had like a Netflix thing coming out. So I'm actually going to try to catch it as soon as I can because he's not in many things, oddly.
Yeah, I saw it pop up on the feed, and it was like in the top 10 shows, and I saw him on there, and that's exactly why I asked, because my only exposure to Charlie Cox is as Daredevil, and so he's somebody that I'd be interested to see if, especially with him being an Echo, and he's getting his Disney Plus show, if he will, start to branch out and do some more things outside of Marvel. But yeah, I just was curious. I haven't watched that show yet.
I hope
I'm
not, because if that's the
interested
case,
to see
it's
how
going to
he
be
is
hard.
in it.
Yeah, I hope not. It's going to be hard for him to come back as Daredevil if he takes other projects.
I think it's really weird when I see his eyes because I'm like, whoa, he's not Matt Murdock. He's not a blind lawyer. Because I'm the same way. All my exposure's been through Matt Murdock and through Daredevil.
Yeah.
So to see him without the glasses or see him acting in a scene where he's moving his eyes, I'm like, whoa, it always stuns me. He's such a great actor at acting blind. I forget that he can truly see it.
And I've noticed a lot of Marvel actors aren't taking many other projects, it seems like. It seems hard for them.
Why would you, man? Keep your schedule open and let those checks come in.
Which is a good and bad thing. As in,
It is a good and bad thing. It limits you in your work, and a lot of actors don't want to have to stay in Marvel shape or do Marvel projects for 6 or 10 years. I totally
unless you're
understand
Samuel
that.
L. Jackson, he loves it. He's like, I'll keep going to the end.
They're probably not asking him.
You've got Batista over here being like, "Thank God I'm done. Like, let me do other stuff." So,
Yeah,
Well,
that's,
like I said,
that's the
Batista-
difference. They want
Yeah.
Batista to stay in shape of Drax, and they could just throw a trench coat on Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, that's the problem. He really hates working out now to get to that. It's really tough to look like that.
I can't.
Especially as he's getting older.
I obviously
Yeah.
cannot imagine what it takes to look like that because I have never and will never look like that.
If you want an idea, you can watch Chris Hemsworth's Limitless on Disney Plus, and they show him getting in shape for like Thor versus what shape he's usually in, and it is absurd how much he has to eat and work out during the day. It changes his entire life.
He just
And he's doing
wrestles
a
a
Hulk
live
Hogan
promo.
biopic too.
Oh, I think that's going to be really good.
I hope so. But his legs are too tiny.
I think it's going to be really, really good.
I don't think Hulk Hogan needs a biopic. I think we can bury that old racist man in the desert and forget about him. Personally.
I've decided to forgive Hulk Hogan because of the people who I've seen in the wrestling community forgive him. I've seen a lot of leaders in the wrestling community and a lot of black leaders in the wrestling community forgive him for slipping up and saying hateful stuff. Everybody knows what he said, and it's up to you whether or not you forgive him. But if his community's willing to forgive him, then I'll forgive him.
My number 3 show There it is Yellow Jackets season 2. I have been on the record on this show when I actually first discovered the first season of Yellow Jackets and talked about how much I liked it. And Yellow Jackets season 2 is coming out this year, and the news cycle of this has been ramping up. They've been doing all their casting announcements and things, so it's just getting closer and closer. I cannot wait. John, I feel like you started Yellow Jackets. Did you finish the first season?
No, I started it. I didn't have the service. I think I can have access to it now, though. Since the second season is coming out, I did like what I saw, so I should probably catch up.
I feel like they've made it more accessible now. Like it's either on Paramount Plus or something. It's on something now, so you can
think it's
catch
on something
because it
I
was a
have
Showtime show. Yeah, it was a Showtime show, so I feel like that's why it wasn't as widely seen when it first came out. But this is the show that's about the '90s soccer team, like their high school soccer team, and their plane goes down in the Canadian wilderness, and they're all stranded out there, and the show cuts back and forth between the present, when some of them are adults, and the past, when they were involved in this plane crash. So some of them survived, and some didn't. And there's I don't want to spoil anything, but based on the casting and some of the announcements they've made, we know there's some new characters that are getting added or so on. So anyway, I loved the first season. I feel like I was kind of in a rut of I wasn't watching much TV before that first season came out. I was like all in on movies, and then when I watched Yellow Jackets, I was like, oh man, TV shows can be so good too. And I feel like since then I've watched so many more TV shows and opened up to so many other great series. So Yellow Jackets just has like a special place for me. I can't wait for the second season that should be out this year. So yeah, that's my number 3, Yellow Jackets season 2. Which I think that was it for TV, right? So we're jumping back to video games for number 3. Sean?
All right, so I got for my pick is Spider-Man 2, a follow-up to the PS4 game, or PS5, whatever you want to call it. I have a PS4. So I'm super excited of that because Venom will be introduced in this game.
Nice.
And I'm not sure if any of y'all played Spider-Man on the PlayStation, but it is awesome. Since all the Spider-Man games since the early days for PlayStation have been so fun.
Since the 64,
just swinging through New York,
yeah.
that to start off with is fun.
Yeah, the Spider-Man games have always been good, and I got to play this one after it came to PC because I don't have a PlayStation, and this game would absolutely be on my list if I had a PlayStation. But I'm gonna have to wait like a year or two for it to go to Steam. So
yeah, and this one has Spider-Man and Miles teaming up, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Marvel Spider-Man 2 is my number 1 most anticipated game.
That's
Nice.
Fair. That's
So
fair.
I'm right there with you, Sean. Echo everything you said. I played the first Spider-Man game when it came out, I think 2018, and loved it. And then when I got my PS5, I played the Miles Morales standalone, and that game was fantastic. And the version I got came with the remastered version of the 2018 Spider-Man game, and I played it again. And so I played the first one twice. I played the Miles game. I loved them. I loved that, we now have both those characters fully established. So I'm assuming Spider-Man 2 is going to let you flip back and forth between Miles and Peter in the game. And then with Venom, like you said, I have no doubt in my mind that this one's going to be just as fantastic, if not better, than the other Spider-Man games in this series. So,
and I hope they introduce a new PlayStation 5 with this game, because usually they do like a Spider-Man console. They used to.
Yeah, like a limited edition.
Nice.
Oh yeah, like imagine if the red plates with the spider on it. And
yeah, maybe that's my way into the
Oh,
PS5
so
since I don't
cool.
have one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and this Spider-Man from the video game is going to make an appearance, I believe, in Across the Spider-Verse. I believe he's in there.
I also heard that, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
If I had to pick who the villain would be, I would definitely pick Venom would be my number 1. So that's exciting. But then my number 2 is stupid. I would like a Clone Saga game, please. But no one else wants that, so they're not going to do it.
Yeah, that's true. Nobody wants that.
Nobody else. It's just me. It's just me.
I was looking back at how good Spider-Man games have been and for how long, and the furthest I got back was 1994, SNES, Spider-Man Ultimate Carnage.
Yeah,
Ace-
Yeah.
Maximum
that
Carnage.
was
That's right.
Maximum Carnage was amazing, and then once you can become Venom,
Yep.
and like his webbing was so thick too on the screen, like there was so much different than Spider-Man. Obviously, that was cool to see. And then they had Cloak and Dagger makes an appearance
That's
in the
exactly
game.
right.
Which was
Then there
really
was
cool.
the sequel Separation Anxiety, which was cooperative and had a couple more characters like Captain America, Ghost Rider, Hawkeye. So yeah, those were my games, man. That's Spider-Man all the way back. Then of course PlayStation had great Spider-Man games where you were web slinging through roofs, but you were just kind of attaching to invisible blimps that floated over your head.
But the mechanics were awesome to begin with, and they kept getting better and better. It's
Spider-Man
really-
games have always been great. That's
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man
games
2
have
is
consistently been good. Yeah.
it's an awesome pick. Spider-Man 2 is a great pick. What about you, Jahan?
My number 3.
Yeah, your number 3 most anticipated video game for 2020.
I don't know if you would assume this would be higher for me or not, but my number 3 is Dead Island 2.
I just hate you for picking apart my list. I'm gonna come to your house and eat all your snacks.
Well, I mean, obviously this is going to be on my list. I love zombie. I've been waiting for this game since Dead Island 1, and ever since they released that stupid trailer, like 4 years ago or however long that was, and then it disappeared forever. It was in developer hell for a long, long time. Supposedly it's coming out this year. I'll believe it when I see it, but I am excited again for it. So, Dead Island 2.
I have Dead Island 2 in my number 1 spot for most anticipated
Really?
game of 2023, and that's because I know, without a doubt, what to expect. It's going to be cooperative, first person. We're going to pick up a bunch of weapons that beat the ever-living crap out of zombies as we move from camp to camp, picking up more upgraded weapons and supplies. Also, Dead Island has more silly weapons than ever, so I'm really looking forward to that. I know that Jahan's going to play it. I
Definitely.
know that I'm going to play it, and that's why it's in my number 1 spot, because this is guaranteed to be a good time. I will enjoy Dead Island 2.
Same.
My number
Gary,
3
what-
game,
I was
however,
gonna say, Gary, what you got? Your number 3.
my number 3, however, is RoboCop Rogue City. So RoboCop Rogue City looks to me almost like if you wanted a Judge Dredd game your whole life or a RoboCop game your whole life, this is finally the one. It's first person, you're RoboCop, and you are in the dystopian future. It is super violent. You've got guns for hands, you've got your pistol. I think there might even be a vehicle level. You're fighting all the classic villains, the big mech walker with like the black mesh and the 2 gun arms with the double barrels. So it's got everything that I want. I put it in my number 3 spot because I'm not sure it will be great, but the aesthetic certainly screams RoboCop/Cyberpunk. So I'm really excited to just play a Cyberpunk game as sort of a killing machine. I think that could be kind of fun. Looking forward to that.
That one also looks good. I looked it up after I saw it on your list, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing this on one of the game.
It certainly
Thanks.
looks like they took their time developing this game. They didn't just slap it together and call this a first-person shooter. They didn't just call it RoboCop.
Do you get to arrest people?
This was RoboCop from the ground up built. And no, I think literally in the plot of like the trailer, it's like, oh no, it's like a red alert and everybody's supposed to be back inside, but they're not. And so everybody's out past curfew committing crimes or something. So you have the okay to just sweep the street. Anyways, RoboCop's not the nicest hero by any means. This does look like a dystopian, violent good time. If you're into cyberpunk, or into first-person shooters, I think this will fit right up your alley. My Deus Ex fans, where you at? RoboCop Rogue City coming at some point in 2023.
If they scratch the Deus Ex itch in RoboCop, I'll be all about that game too. My number 3 most anticipated game is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So this is the sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a game that I really, really enjoyed, and honestly, because of that, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I haven't even been watching much gameplay or trailers of it other than the original cinematic trailer, because I loved the first one so much that it's like, yeah, I'm gonna play more of that. So I'm looking forward to Jedi Survivor, and actually, you can get the first one. Fallen Order is like, I think it might be on Game Pass, or it was at one point, but it's in all kinds of sales. I think it's
on
a PS Plus.
It's on EA Play, right?
It's a downloadable game for us for the PS Plus stuff. So I'm going to download that and play it.
Yeah, it's a PS Plus game for January. So like, it's super easy to get your hands on this game now, on the first one, if you want to play it before the new one comes out, which I'm actually probably going to give it a replay so that it's fresh when the new one comes out. But yeah, so Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I mean, not much to say. Third person action lightsaber game, and super fun. Can't wait.
And it's sort of a Souls-like game.
Sort of, but
not quite as punishing.
Difficult. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure if you crank up the difficulty on there, that it gets mighty difficult. But I'm a little baby boy gamer, and so I do not turn on the higher difficulties.
It's one of my more favorite Souls likes for sure. It's very fun. I'm excited for this one too. It didn't make my list though, but good pick.
And I think the original, you said it's on Game Pass. I rolled it around in my brain. I think it's on EA Play, which is part of Game Pass as of January 2023. But who knows how long they'll keep that deal. So yeah, it is there.
Yeah.
That will bring us back around to movies. And that is going to be our guest, the mayor of Nerdtropolis, Sean Taj. Sean, what's your number 2 most anticipated movie of 2023?
So it's actually The Flash.
No.
If it finally, yes, I have been anticipated this for a long time.
Okay.
And I even interviewed Kiersey Clemens, who is going to be playing the love interest of The Flash.
That's awesome.
And
congratulations.
she said that it was something special when they were making it, and there was a lot of cool surprises to be looking forward to. I'm hoping that all of that's still intact. I'm not sure where the future is, but I really just want to see Michael Keaton in the Batmobile back. That's all I want. So that's why I'm super excited. That is one of my favorite Batmans and Batmobile ever. So I just want to see that on the big screen once again.
Michael Keaton was the best live action Batman.
So I'm just curious of what this actually is going to be. What's the end product? So that's why I'm really anticipating it, because to see if it follows through what it is supposed to do, or they just changed everything because of the whole shakeup over there at DC.
This is an honorable mention for me too, Sean, just because I'm just so curious about this. They've been really sticking to their guns about this movie and wanting it to come out theatrically, because it sounds like, basically, from the insider point of view and from the test screenings, apparently it's really good. Like, it has been testing like crazy.
They said
off the charts.
They said Dark Knight good, which is
like, it's
very
supposed to be
strong.
Yeah, allegedly really good. And obviously before the shakeup at DC, this was supposed to be the film that kind of corrected the DCEU and like set it on its new path. However, now with James Gunn and Peter Safran coming in, I don't know where this is going to stand. I'm just curious to see how they market this and how they go about it. Not even from the Ezra Miller standpoint. Like, that's one thing, and he's had mental health issues, and so it's like, you know, it's a whole nother thing. But as far as just the future of DC and where this sits, like, I don't think that this is something that's going to have any kind of follow-up in the future if they're really scrapping everything. So I'm just interested to see how it's handled, and I'm just very intrigued by it all.
I think it would be really cool if, and I'm a mark for Michael Keaton Batman, right? That's really what I love about this too, Sean. So I don't think we're going to be disappointed. I think if all we're looking forward to is Michael Keaton Batman, we're going to come out happy. And anything else is icing on the cake. But I think what James Gunn could do, may do, I don't know why I think this, but you know, if this is a Flashpoint, if this is alternate universes coming together, he could keep Michael Keaton Batman, There's no reason that he has to keep everything from this movie or get rid of everything from this movie. If this is a multiverse crossing over, he can pick and choose any of these characters and bring them back if he wants to. So it does leave itself in an interesting place for James Gunn's takeover, because literally a different universe could take over right here. There's almost a reason for a different showrunner to come along and run DC because of this movie's plot. Could be interesting. I'm not sure what they'll be able to do with it. I'm not sure what the point of it is, but if it works, then I think it'll work really well. And yeah, Ezra Miller's the big question mark here, because do they continue with Ezra in the future? I would say almost assuredly no, they probably don't. So it makes this movie weird to watch, but I want to watch it.
Yeah, sure. I'm not particularly. I mean, I'm not excited for this movie. I don't think it.
What about Keaton in the Batmobile wearing the Batman costume?
I'll totally watch that part. I'll just fast forward through the rest, I guess.
And Batfleck is back too for some type of scene, so there's gonna be 2 Batmans at least.
I'm a huge anti-Batflick guy, so
you better go watch it then.
I'm not a big fan of the Batflick.
I could watch Michael Keaton be Batman for like another 10 or 15 years. I could watch old Batman. I could get used to that storyline. I think he's the best Batman that there is right now.
I just want old man Michael Keaton Batman and Terry McGinnis. That's all I want. That's it.
Unfortunately, they were trying to do a Batman Beyond, but they were trying to do it with like a Batgirl type deal, where it's
They
more
gotta
like
do it with
they got to
Keaton.
do a true Terry version of that, which I would like to see. And honestly, it could be Michael Keaton or it could be a really old Batflick.
I've always said Clint Eastwood would be great for old Batman, also for old Bruce Wayne.
But it's
Just pissed
too
off
late-
in the
still late now.
Batcave.
Still late now, though.
Depends what
real,
year.
real old now.
Well, depends what year you set it in, because you could set it in like,
I mean, in
2070.
Batman Beyond, like Bruce is like 100, so you know.
But look how big he was too. Still in that cartoon, he was still a very big man.
He was still
True.
swole. That's true.
Yeah.
Jahan,
Yeah, what's up,
that brings us to yours.
My number 2 movie of the year. I think this is on someone else's list, but yeah, Evil Dead Rise, my number 2 for the year. Super excited for this one. I watched the trailer that just dropped the other day. I'm very excited for this movie. Very, very excited. I don't know. Bruce Campbell is behind the scenes. I don't think he's in it, but it looks. I liked the remake of the of Evil Dead with the female lead in the cabin again, and it was just really good. Truly disturbing, truly scary, and I don't know. This looks a lot like that, but it also looks like it has some of the original flavor intact, and that's probably because of Bruce. I guess the original director's back as well. Raimi's there. It looks great. It looks fantastic. It looks gross, disturbing. It looks like it's going to be too much, and that's what I want from an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, they're both producing, Raimi and Bruce. So they have the film's blessing for sure. So that's exciting to see that they're part of the new reboot.
I did not care so much for the new Evil Dead, and from the sounds of it, I do not care so much for this.
Okay.
I love when
hot take,
Gary
hot
throws
take.
out his "I don't care for this thing," and it's a thing that he hasn't seen yet.
Don't care
also,
for it.
Evil
Not
Dead
excited.
is Evil Dead, and it's gonna be Evil Dead. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's
Number
next?
2
Gary,
movie.
you're number
Me.
2.
Let me take it away. Let me give you a dunk here, because this is the last one on my movie list. My number 1 movie already got picked up. That was Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. So this is sort of my slam dunk. This is my ace in the hole. This is my no one else had it on your list. Nanny nay boo boo, stick your head in doo doo. Can't wait to see Cocaine Bear. Based on a true story, cocaine gets dropped in the woods of Tennessee. A bear eats it and murders everyone. It's sort of a comedy horror movie. I think it's coming out the early part of 2023. This is just going to be a violent romp with a bear mauling people.
This is
in a really funny way. I feel like if you had a family member who was mauled by a bear, there's no amount of anything they could do to make that funny for you. But I have not been mauled by a bear. I don't have a family member that's been mauled by a bear. And I think that a bear high on cocaine going on a killing spree is funny. So to me, this would be my number 2 most anticipated movie of 2023. Right after Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm going to go see Cocaine Bear.
Which isn't too far after that. It's February 24th for that one.
Oh, just a week later, so I get to get jacked on action.
And this has Ray Liotta in it, and I wonder if this is his last movie he did, or he was working on something else. But Ray Liotta is in this movie.
No kidding.
interesting.
Yeah, it's produced by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, and directed by Elizabeth Banks. So we'll see how she does. I wonder how she does in director's seat. So
I like her. This was almost on my list. I'm also excited for this. A bear eats cocaine and goes on a killing spree is a great premise for a movie.
Yeah, bring it on. Yeah,
based on
elevator
a true story.
pitch.
Based on a true story.
It is.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, like that's that. You're not making
That's
it less
what's wild. Yeah.
I love the elevator pitch for that. It's like you have one sentence to elevator pitch me, and you got it. A bear on cocaine. Yup, I'm in. Elevator pitch, baby. Let's pass it back to Sean, and this will be your number 2 most anticipated. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Drew.
He didn't forget you, Drew. He doesn't fucking like you.
No. I forget what order they come in because earlier they tied on something and it really messed me up.
I'll just play it.
I'm sorry, Drew. I didn't mean to skip you. You're my buddy. Why don't you tell us what you like?
My number 2, I'm excited about this one. Like, real excited. My number 2 most anticipated movie of the year will release in theaters on July 21st of 2023. And no, it is not Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, which also releases that date. But this is Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig, coming out in theaters. I cannot wait for the Barbie movie. Hear me out. Gary and Jahan just both look absolutely
I get if you want to see it, that's fine. But number 2 most anticipated?
It's also the ranking for me, but I mean, hey, it could be really good.
This
Dude
is
likes
up there
what he
for me.
likes.
Here's the thing. Directed by Greta Gerwig, who I absolutely adore. I loved Lady Bird. I loved her version of Little Women. Great movies. So, like, I'm already just high on Greta Gerwig's directing. Then, come to find out, this is written by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, her partner, who Noah Baumbach's done a lot of... He actually just had a new movie that released that he directed on Netflix called White Noise. That's out there now.
That wasn't very good.
To you...
It didn't look very
Whew.
good.
Did you liked White Noise?
It's good.
Drew is White
and I
Noise.
loved Marriage Story. I liked the Meyerowitz Story.
I like
you
those
know.
movies too, and I thought the acting was good in White Noise, but I just thought it was a little misdirected. But go for it. Go ahead.
And Frances Ha and everything. I really like it. So the fact that they're teaming together on this, so I was already on board from the creative standpoint. Then that trailer drops. That's just a beat for beat parody of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I'm just like 100% on board once I realized what's happening in this trailer. I'm like, oh, it's like they did it. Like, oh my gosh, like if this is the tone, if this is what they're going for, I'm all in. You've also got Will Ferrell's in this movie. Of course, Ryan Gosling plays Ken. Margot Robbie's Barbie. Simu Liu, Shang-Chi himself is in this movie.
Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling are appropriately cast.
This is just... I'm so intrigued by what this is going to be. And I know it's weird to have it where I do, but I think just because of how wild it could potentially be, I'm so like, I'm no lie, if it's between Oppenheimer and Barbie on that day and I could only see one, I'm taking Barbie over Oppenheimer.
I would
that's
also
gonna be a good
prefer
weekend
to watch Barbie over Oppenheimer.
But Oppenheimer looks so good though.
I don't want my reaction earlier to get you wrong. Like, I support your love of this movie, and I think I might enjoy it as well. It's just number 2 is just really high. That was my whole thing. It does look good, and it does look like it's something other than what was expected when they announced a Barbie movie. It looks very different from what just that conjured. This actually looks like it could be a good movie, so I'll reserve judgment.
All right, now we can jump to Sean for number 2. Did we already spoil your number 2 for TV?
I think I made,
or
I made
no?
some additions, maybe.
Nice.
Okay.
I think I did. I thought we were going to video games for some reason, and you might have to come back to me. I
Okay.
had something.
It's okay. We can skip. Jahan, what's your number 2?
Yeah, go to Jahan
We'll come
real
back to
quick.
you, Sean.
My number 2 TV show?
Yes.
Oh wait, I know it.
Is-
Sorry, I remember now. I'm so sorry. I remember before I forget.
Fuck me, huh, Sean?
All right,
No, I'm
all
just-
right.
I'm just kidding.
Before I forget, season 4 of Succession.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
That's supposed to be coming out this year, and that was a show everyone was talking about. I'm like, no thanks. I don't like when there's a lot of noise about a show that gets super popular. I kind of wait till I can watch it on my own to do my own judgment, and I loved it. So season 4 of that is coming out on HBO this year, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It is quite the wild ride.
What's it about? Like,
It's about-
briefly, like, just a little.
Oh, it's really
like, it's about
super wealthy.
lawyers or...
Super wealthy media family, and they're like fighting amongst each other about ownership and just how to run the company and just
Okay.
a bunch of stuff. But it's drug filled. It's funny. It has a really great cast.
Interesting.
That's the one with Karen.
Torn because I hate rich people, but I love drugs. So now I don't know if I want to watch this or not.
No, you really should. It's really well done, honestly.
Sean,
I hear that
Succession is
cocaine
kind
bear.
of on my. It's like on my list of
Ooh.
shame for shows that I haven't caught up with. And to be honest, I think the first and second seasons were already out, and I started to watch it, and I got about halfway through season 1, and then my daughter was born, and so then I had a newborn, and I wasn't getting much sleep, and I tried to watch it, but it is not the type of show that you can watch when you're like super, super tired. But it is good from what I've seen, and I do fully intend to try to catch up on the first 3 seasons before season 4 comes out, because I do feel like this is like such a huge show and sweeps so many awards. But yeah, like Jahan and Gary, like Sean was saying, I mean, it's basically a super dysfunctional rich family that are all constantly trying to like one up each other within the business. I think the premise of the first season, like going back, is the dad, who's Brian Cox, who's like the in charge of the company, that his son is like ready to take over and thinks he's going to, and right on the day that he thinks he's about to get control of the company, the dad says, no, I'm actually staying in charge, and he's old and has all these health issues, and so it's just like they're all constantly just battling each other for like is that a good way to put it, Sean?
And then like
I'm sure
there's
it becomes
tabloids
so
about
much
the
more
family
than that.
members and stuff like that, and they're backstabbing
So
each
it's
other.
like the WWE.
There's a lot of Vince McMahon parallels here that can be made 100%.
That actually
Yeah.
is very good thing to say.
I've been
I-
reading that story in the news for like 10 years. That is a good story. I might watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that story. I've been addicted to it for a long time now.
And Kieran Macaulay
Kieran
Culkin's brother,
Culkin.
Kieran, is in it.
Oh, I love
And-
Kieran Culkin.
His character is wild, super wild in that. So I definitely recommend it.
Nice.
Yep, good pick. I think that's a super popular one, and I'll be jumping on board. All right, Jahan, we'll take it back to you. Sorry, we it's like you were about to have it served on a platter, and then we took it away. So
I'm
tell us
sorry.
what's your number 2.
It's okay. I'm used to constant disappointment. My number 2 is going to be real easy. It's Velma. I'm pretty excited for that. I am excited for adult Scooby-Doo, and I like cartoons. Not a hard sell for me. I'll be watching this one all the way through. So
I think we can say now, because we talked about Velma before. Gary's number 2 is the same as my number 2 is the same as Jahan's number 1. So
And it comes out tonight.
yeah,
And which
from
is
the
my
date
number-
that this episode drops
number one.
on
Is it yours as well?
podcast feeds.
Yeah,
Oh
your
yeah.
number one. Mm-hmm.
So I guess we can switch gears to that since it's the rest of your number twos and then me and Sean's number one. We'll just knock out TV shows mostly all together. But I think you guys will still have number ones, right? The Last of Us on HBO is going to be premiering, and I mean, what do you want? You know what I mean? It's based on one of the best video games ever made. It's got zombies, but they're like fungus zombies, so it's like different zombies. And there's going to be blood, guts, murder, Game of Thrones characters. The show is it's going to be good. It will be a good show. Let's just hope it survives whatever the hell HBO thinks they're doing.
I would say that Last of Us has this really edge of your seat type of oh crap vibe. It's not the same as some zombie apocalypses that might be more bright or colorful or more violent even. These characters are probably weaker than the plague. So it's best to avoid a fight. So a lot of this series will probably have your hair standing up on the back of your neck, you on the edge of your couch, just like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. I think it's going to be a really good time. I think it's going to be very, very much thriller, very more than horror, to say. What do you guys think?
Probably, yeah, that's probably good.
And they said that this season 1 covers the whole first game.
I really think they should slow that down.
Well, that's what I thought too, but that's what they said. It's the whole
Yeah.
first season is the first game, all of it.
But in the
Somehow.
games, they do a big time jump between 1 and 2, don't they?
Yeah.
So maybe
They
they're
do,
planning
and
on
I
padding
do
it
feel
out.
like, as somebody that's played both the games, I feel like the first game lends itself well to a single season of TV, whereas the second game could really be expanded upon a lot if they go that route with the show.
Well, Pedro's gonna
Yeah,
be
I
busy
mean-
anyways, so he might not come back to The Last of Us for a while. For
He's on
season
2 two of my shows, yeah. Last of Us and The Mandalorian, so that's pretty fun.
But Neil Druckmann, who's the main kind of creative force behind the game, has been heavily involved in the show and helped write it and everything. And so, like, I don't know, and even the actors that were in the game, Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, have both basically given their blessing to the performances and everything in this, and I feel like it is genuine. They both actually appear in the show as well in
Oh, that's
supporting
awesome.
roles.
Good for them.
cameos.
That's
Yeah,
great.
like Ashley Johnson actually plays Ellie's mother in the show, and she
That's dope.
played Ellie in the game. So there's like some cool things there, but yeah, I mean, just the fact that Warner Brothers and HBO have gone all in on this, and this is getting like the Sunday night time slot on HBO, and like HBO Sunday night TV has like a long running legacy of just the shows that, like, that's their big slot. That's what it used to be. Is like Sunday night you were watching HBO, and yeah. So the fact
I
that this is
definitely
getting
think
that-
this show fits that Sunday night slot that you've talked about before, where White Lotus doesn't really fit that slot for me. I think Game of Thrones, I think Sopranos, all these huge shows of the past, there are shows in the middle that don't fit the slot, and that's okay. But I think Last of Us is going to fit that Sunday night itch for everybody, and I think there are people who don't know they're going to love it. People like in our parents' age demographic that know nothing about the game, they don't know what to expect. I think they're going to eat this show up.
My parents, I can guarantee, are gonna love this show because they love a lot of weird stuff that you wouldn't expect them to, and like my mom loved Peacemaker. Like,
Last of Us to me is not like you need to know the video game to like the show. You don't need to know anything. I think people are going to absolutely love these monsters.
I can't wait to watch this with my family. Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
And ever since Pedro Pascal was on Game of Thrones, like, his star has really only continued to grow since then, and even since he was cast in this, and he's done Mandalorian, he's just been doing so much, and I really feel like he's a big draw for the show, at least for me. I thought it was a pretty inspired casting choice when it was announced. I was like, oh, I'm not feeling it. But now, as things have gone on, and I've seen a lot more of Pedro Pascal in the past couple of years, I'm like, I'm all about it. I want to see what he brings to it. I'm excited for this.
He doesn't miss, man. He hasn't missed yet.
Yeah, this honestly, I debated putting this as my number one on my list too. I went with Mandalorian season 3 just because it was at least a known quantity. But as far as new shows, it's for sure my most anticipated new show.
So it was going to be Pedro or Pedro.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
My number one, while we're still in shows, I initially had Mando season 3, but since it got sniped off the list, I put one on that I'm surprised Jahan didn't have. So this is sort of honorable mention for me, and it's also like, Jahan, come on, bro. Generation V. Have you seen Generation V? Anybody familiar with this?
I am excited for that one. It is the boys universe. It's in high school and with superpowered teenage drama. So it looks like it's going to be dope as shit, for sure. It wasn't on my list for no particular reason. I could have put it on there.
I know you're a big fan of the boys universe, and I'm not a huge fan of it because of the violence. I think some of it's a little too graphic for even me. Oh, yeah. And especially some of the graphic sexual scenes, I don't really care for that too much. But this universe, kind of having a Professor Xavier kind of high school with superpowered high school kids and seeing how they would actually act and how they would abuse their powers and lash out, I think they could tell a lot of really fun, dark, twisted stories here. It's like Degrassi on steroids.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. I was like, is this going to be like Degrassi? Because if you're selling it like Degrassi, I am in, because they scrapped the Degrassi comeback, which I was looking forward to.
I don't think they're going to sell it like Degrassi. I think they're going to sell it like The Boys. But, I hope they sell it with a little bit more of a high school vibe. That could be a lot of fun.
Did you like Diabolical?
I loved Diabolical, actually.
Nothing will ever beat Aquafina being a shitnomancer, ever.
What was the name of that superhero show that came out that was so awesome? Invincible. Is this another season of Invincible coming out this year? Because I didn't see that anywhere, and that would have been a good pick.
I think it is this year, but I could be wrong.
I think it is this year as well.
If it is, then I will throw Velma right in the toilet.
Yeah,
and I will pick up. When I was looking, I didn't see either of these on the list I was looking at.
July 2023, maybe.
Jeez.
Apparently.
I would watch Generation V probably could have been on my list, and then Invincible absolutely would have been. Invincible was one of the greatest superhero cartoons I've ever seen, ever, and it's even up there, like, really high with just superhero shows in general. So
I agree. I couldn't have said it better. Invincible's fantastic. Looking forward to another season. Not sure if we're going to get it in 23, though. Just another shout out. Does anybody have any more honorable mention shows they want to talk about before we wrap shows up?
That I have on shows, it's the honorable mention that you guys are going to make fun of me for. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it a shot.
Walking Dead, Louisiana.
The Walking Dead, Dead City. Yeah, absolutely. It takes place in New York City, actually. And then, I'm willing to give it a shot, man. I feel like they shy away from, the bigger cities. It's always in the middle of nowhere. And it's for budgetary reasons, you know what I mean? It's easier to do, the fewer zombies and blah, blah, blah. But New York City is going to be a dope place for a zombie television show, in my opinion. I hope it's good. But, it wasn't on my list. It is an honorable mention because I don't have a lot of faith in it.
I had one honorable mention that I'll shout out, and honestly, this isn't even one that I had been following, but when I was doing research for this, it came up, and apparently it is supposed to come out this year. But Dune: The Sisterhood, which is a Dune spinoff that will be going straight to HBO Max.
Is it about the Bene Gesserit?
I believe so.
Nice.
So, and that's just kind of like I'm kind of blindly putting this on my list because I don't know all that much about it. There is a cast list, and they've shot it apparently. But it's supposed to come out this year, and I'm just all in on Dune and the universe that they've created. So,
if you're looking for a show similar to that, similar to what they're coming out with. There is Grease: Rise of the Pink Ladies coming to Paramount Plus.
Oh my gosh!
So if you want the opposite of the
promo image
Sisterhood
for
on
this
Dune,
recently.
Hell yeah.
there you go.
I want you to write like an expose piece about the similarities between those two series when they come out. The Pink Ladies are basically the same as the Bene Gesserit.
So apparently, Dune: The Sisterhood is set 10,000 years before the ascension of Paul Atreides, and it'll
that's
follow two Harkonnen sisters as they combat forces that threaten the future of humankind and establish the fabled sect known as the Bene Gesserit. So there you go.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
about the founding of the Bene Gesserit. That's cool.
I'll get with that. That sounds dope.
Ah, man, my brother's gonna flip out about that. He's gonna.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna poop all over his own feet.
My younger brother has read all of the Dune books.
How many are there?
There's like 8. I don't know.
7, I think, and the last 2 are by the son of the original guy. They're not even by the original. So supposedly it's a hard series to stick with, but he did it.
He finished it. He says it gets bananas, but yeah,
You got a gold star.
he'll be excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he read enough books to go to Astroworld and get a pizza party for his class.
Oh, those were good old days.
You're
That's what I'm
making it
talking
sound
about.
old, Gary.
We are old.
None of those things exist anymore.
Games. Games.
Close. We're getting close,
We're
guys.
getting
Yeah,
close.
games will go to everybody's. You know, we're only on number 2s for games, but I feel like a lot of number 1s have been said, or this is where we're really in the overlap phase. We obviously just wrapped up all of our TV talk. So for games, yeah, Sean, do we have your number 2?
Yeah, number 2, I have Hogwarts Legacy.
Me too. That's my number 2.
Oh,
Homeboy.
there you go.
What's
yeah.
up, girl? We finally matched one up right at the very end. That's my
There
last
you
game
go.
on my list. That's what I'm talking about, Sean.
They pushed that back quite a bit for a while. They're like working on it still. So excited to see it's coming out. What I think it's next month.
Yeah, what house are you gonna play?
So,
That's a good question. I'm gonna flip a coin.
You haven't even thought about it yet? Put
No,
on the
I thought
sorting
about it.
hat, girl.
Gryffindor.
I'm not a big
dog.
like Harry Potter fan. I enjoy the world and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see like what it looks like because it's an immersive, RPG. So
Yeah, I was a huge
Gary, are
Harry
you
Potter
going-
person. Had to pull it back a bit because of reasons with the author, but I mean, this game, man, it looks so damn good. It looks so good. I want to play it so bad.
Gary, are you going Slytherin?
Oh, you already know, girl. I'm gonna be that slippery snake. I'm gonna be down in the dungeon mixing up potions, and I'm gonna be out on the Quidditch field throwing potions at you. I'm gonna have a beater, and I'll be like, bam, hitting the ball, and I'll be knocking you off your broom. Oh, it's gonna be lit. I'm gonna be out of control at this Harry Potter game.
I'm gonna be a Gryffindor because I'm a basic bitch.
then I'll
Well, you
go
should be a
Ravenclaw.
Hufflepuff then.
Oh, I am gonna be a Hufflepuff. I'm claiming Hufflepuff.
Oh wait, do we have
over
all
here.
4?
Yeah, I'll be Ravenclaw.
We have all. Oh wow, that's fun. That's fun.
It comes out on PS4. That's what I read. It better.
Yes, it does. It comes out a month or maybe 2 months later on PS4.
Sean, I
I
don't
looked
know
at the
if you-
dates
I think that it-
later.
I think it
Later.
got delayed. The PS4 and Xbox One versions got delayed a couple months, but the
It's
Series
not like
X
PS4
and S
hasn't been
and
around
PS5
forever. They should
So-
have done that one first.
So, Sean, I don't know if you've had this experience, but from my personal experience, I had to get a Series X because even the games that are coming out for old and new gen, they cut the games in half to cram it on the old gen, man. I've been so burnt by Cyberpunk, by Battlefield, by all these games that like they just give you half the game and charge you full price. It's so bad. But I'm just
I need
giving you a heads up there, man. Like
I need that Spider-Man PS5 then. I need that Spider-Man edition then.
I think you have until March or so to get your hands on a new platform. So there's no hurry, no rush.
Yeah.
And even then, you don't need Spider-Man the day it comes out. You don't need Harry Potter the day it comes out. You could probably hold on till next Christmas, maybe.
Or it's all PS6.
Yeah, right. At that point, it's like, why buy these games? Next one's coming out.
my power just flickered, FYI. So if something
Mine
happens,
actually, I think just did too. It is pouring here.
it's pouring.
Right.
Yeah, it's pouring.
Does anybody have any more games they want to talk about? That
Oh.
wrapped up my list as well.
I got.
I
two
still have
on
a
my
number
list,
one.
so, My number 2 is big and strong. It's a big, strong pick. Starfield.
It's my number 2 as well.
Excellent. Oh wow, you're all's 2 and our 2. We all.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
All right, boom, Captain Planet.
Captain Planet. God, we would summon such a shitty Captain Planet. We should talk about that in depth later. But anyway,
It'd be Don Cheadle.
I love that skin so much. Tree, everybody's trees. All right, Starfield looks great. I mean, they've made a lot of promises. I haven't been burnt by one of their games before. You know, I've loved I love Fallout 3, Fallout 4. I loved, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. Like, they have a great track record. They promise a lot with this game. They promise the world and all the worlds beyond, And if they can deliver on a quarter of that, this will be a decent game. If they can deliver on all of it, it'll be one of the greatest games I've ever played. So this is on my number 2. I am
Correct
still
me
apprehensive.
If I'm wrong. This is owned by Microsoft now, right?
Yep.
So this will be a free day one Game Pass release?
It's entirely possible. Yeah, I think it might be free. So, I don't know, man. I feel like I've just been rewarded for being a fan, and I get a free game, and I'm excited. Hell yeah, Xbox. Hell yeah, Game Pass. Starfield. I'm thrilled.
right there. Jahan, you worded it perfectly there at the end, because that's exactly where I'm at. It's like I'm excited for this game because of what it is, right? It's from Bethesda Game Studios, the people that do Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and so I mean their core studio that does those big open world games. So we're getting a new one set in outer space. I'm all about it. I'm in. But to your point, I feel like this is going to be the first game that comes out that really. We're finally reaping some of the rewards of being patient Xbox fans, and with all the acquisitions they've made, waiting for that first big, true exclusive that we get. And so, yeah, I'm excited for Starfield.
This is the payoff. I'm so excited.
And it has been delayed. I think it was supposed to come out at the end of last year, and it's gotten moved. But they've Todd Howard has said for sure it will be out the first half of this year, even though it doesn't have a release date set right now. I think it's posted right now. The rumors are May, June that it'll be out.
Hey,
but
take
Todd
your time,
Howard
make it good.
He's assured that the extra time Microsoft has given them is just continuously making it a better game. So sure, do whatever you have to do, make it a better game. I will be ready to play it as soon as it comes out.
As a Bethesda fanboy and a fan of all the Elder Scrolls games, I'm actually not a huge fan of the Fallout games. And Starfield to me looks a little more Fallout than Elder Scrolls.
It does.
I'm not super stoked on it yet. I definitely will play it. But the trailers to me, right? So not full gameplay. They looked like a lot of empty places with not a whole lot of enemies and not a lot of exciting things going on. Now, that's not to say their skill trees might not be great and their boss fights might be awesome. I don't know. But from what I saw, it looked kind of like just walking through a Fallout waste, except it's a different planet now. I didn't see anything beautiful and innovative. But I will play it.
So that's Starfield. So that's mine and Jahan's number 2. Gary, we've already said your number 2, correct? Was Hogwarts Legacy.
Yes, sir.
And actually, my number 1 was Spider-Man 2. So my number 1's covered. Do we just want to wrap up everybody's number 1s?
Yeah, let's knock it out.
Video games,
Yeah.
and then because I think it's just Sean and Jahan may have something left. So yeah, Sean, what was your number 1?
So mine is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the
That's
Kingdom.
my number 1.
Oh
ding,
my
ding,
God.
ding, ding, ding. We have a match.
I'm a big Zelda fan.
Same.
Big. I will
Same,
play
same.
almost every Zelda game that's out there. I'm excited they finally have a sequel. It takes forever between Zelda games. I can't do it. It's really hard to sit through how long it takes for them to
Yeah.
push out their next game. But
I came to
I'm
Breath
excited.
of the Wild.
And Jahan, it's all yours.
I came to Breath of the Wild late because I didn't have a Switch. I got a Switch eventually. Got Breath of the Wild. I got into it, but then I got into a bunch of other games, and then I came back, hit it hard, finished it, loved that game, fantastic. I beat the Champions Ballad DLC, beat all of those like super difficult challenges, really fun. Love that game. And this, I mean, this looks like it's going to be just a better version of that, and I'm thrilled. I've been loving Zelda my whole life. I mean, dear God, like Link to the Past on the Super NES is still one of my favorite games of all time. You know what I mean? I love Zelda. Can't wait for this one. Very excited for this.
A12 is when it comes out.
I
May 12th?
have
Hell
it
yeah.
as an honorable mention. I am a huge Zelda fan of the older games, but I am one of the Zelda fans that Breath of the Wild was not really my cup of tea. It's a little bit almost too open and free, and I know that there are some of the classic dungeons in it, but like that's more my speed. That being said, anytime a new Zelda game comes out, like I'm not going to act like I'm not excited for it. And
That's
so
a fair critique
I've been-
because it is very different from other Zelda
Right.
titles.
I'm more like you, Drew, though, when I play Zelda. Like, it is really big and overwhelming, but it's also really fun where really not beatable. It is beatable, but it's really not because you can just do whatever you want. You can spend hours in the world and just do whatever you want and before you go into any missions and stuff like that.
I think that now knowing what Breath of the Wild was, because I think when I went into that game, I knew that it was different, but I didn't know really what it was going into it. And now with this, I feel like expectations are set, and so I'll be able to jump into it and be kind of part of the conversation as everybody's discovering it for the first time when it comes out. So yeah.
So I do actually have more honorable mentions because, like I was saying before, like this is a much better year for games in my opinion. So there's a lot that I'm excited for.
Because so much got delayed from last year into
Yeah.
this year, so it's like all the good stuff is still yet to come.
and that moved it like down my list, you know, because I'm like less excited because it got held back. But so there are a few. I'll just kind of knock them out. Honorable mentions: Fire Emblem Engage should be a fun entry into the series. Atomic Heart going to be coming out soon, free on Game Pass.
You pre-installed it already?
You already pre-installed it. All right. It is first-person shooter, sort of in the style of like Russian Fallout or BioShock almost. Looks really, really fun.
I was gonna say it gave BioShock vibes.
It does give some pretty big BioShock vibes. Lies of P is a Souls-like where you are Pinocchio, battling through a great little world. It looks like a lot of fun. And then for the 4-player co-op fans, Redfall. That got moved down my list because it was delayed. I was annoyed by that. I wanted to play it now. But hey, I'll play it when it comes out. It's going to be free on Game Pass day one. I forget who makes that game.
It's a Bethesda game, but I can't remember
Okay.
which studio under Bethesda makes
So
it.
another Bethesda title. This is a 4-player co-op, Left 4 Dead style vampire game, and where you're battling vampires and cultists and their familiars. And it has champions. So instead of just having 4 different skinned characters, they actually have different powers. More like
It's from
World War
Arcane,
Z.
so the same people that did Dishonored and Deathloop.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
So yeah, it's more like how in World War Z, you like your character choice actually had different powers and stuff. They have more supernatural powers and like cartoony powers almost than that. They're not really realistic, but it looks like a very fun game. And yeah, 4-player co-op. I'm all in. And then Suicide Squad was also there, but.
I had Redfall on my honorable mentions as well, just to shout it out because, hey, as the Xbox fan, you got to be excited for any exclusive we can get at this point.
I
Then,
also I forgot one.
Oh, go ahead.
That probably should have been on my list, honestly. I forgot. Hades 2 is coming out. The sequel to one of the greatest games ever made by anybody, let alone an indie developer. Hades 2 is shaping up to be really, really fun. So I'm excited for that one. I played the crap out of Hades. It's one of the games I played the most on my Switch. And so I'm very excited for Hades 2. I know Jenny is too. So, boom.
Yeah, my only other honorable mention was Final Fantasy 16. Comes out this year, and it is a
16.
PlayStation exclusive,
You know,
which it is kind of baffling. I don't know why Sony doesn't just buy Square Enix at this point. Why,
That's a good point. They really should.
They're keeping this one from Xbox. They haven't even brought the Final Fantasy VII remake to Xbox, and it was supposed to only be like a limited year of exclusivity on PlayStation, and it still hasn't come out. So it's like it seems like Sony's really doing their best to keep these Square Enix games from the Xbox platform. Whatever, it's fine. I know they have a long-standing relationship, and I don't understand why Sony doesn't just buy them at this point. But that's neither here nor there.
Maybe not
Doesn't
for
matter.
sale.
I do have a PlayStation, so I will be playing Final Fantasy 16 on my PlayStation when it comes out. I'm excited for another main entry. It's been a long time since 15 came out, and 16 looks really great so far.
Can I ask a stupid Pokemon question that might be stupid? Because I might have totally missed it already. Remember Arceus came out, right? Didn't they say they were going to make like a 4-player co-op game in that same vein as Arceus?
Scarlet Violet?
That's 2-player co-op, right?
I think that's 4-player co-op, actually.
Maybe
And
so.
it's
Maybe
out.
maybe that already happened. I
They're
hadn't
coming
heard.
out with something called Crimson and Cobalt.
I
Yeah, in 2025.
Oh.
okay, that's a long way out. Okay, so maybe I was thinking Scarlet Violet. Maybe it just happened and I didn't notice. I thought it would be really cool to play like 4-player open world Pokemon with friends, but I didn't do that. I thought that would be fun. Definitely better than the old top-down NES format or the top-down Game Boy format. I was interested in that 3D world with friends, and then you can like ride the Cyclosaurs like little motorcycles, and
Yeah,
I thought
you have motorcycle Pokemon, yeah.
I thought that would be fun to do with friends. Maybe I just played too much GTA Online. Are we all ready to wrap up games and talk about our last? Do we have last movies?
We have last movies.
Yeah, I think it's just
That's
our
it.
number ones, which, Gary, I think we spoiled yours because yours was Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
That's right, coming out
but I
on
think-
my birthday. So if you go see it the day it comes out, you're doing it for me.
But I think we do have some other number ones. So, Sean, what's your number one most anticipated film of 2023?
All right, I'm excited for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem coming this August, I believe August 4th. And that is from Seth Rogen's production company, and it's being directed by the guy that helmed The Mitchells versus the Machines, which is
that was really good.
an amazing animated film. I think it was the best animated film of that year. And I'm super excited to get TMNT back on the big screen
I
in any
saw-
capacity.
That's coming
And
out.
it is an animated film, right?
Yeah, it's animated.
Yes, and that leaked artwork is pretty accurate. So it's kind of wonky a little bit, but they're trying to like pull a little bit from like Spider-Verse maybe on how they're doing the graphics and stuff like that. But I'm excited for TMNT.
I did see that one, and also, I mean, it piqued my interest. I just didn't know much about it, so I'll probably be watching that one too, for sure. My number one, we already talked about, so we can just go quick. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the movie I'm most excited for this year. Absolutely. So it looks like we both have animations in our top slot, which is fun. I mean, the first one was one of the best movies I've ever seen. It was fantastic. It was such a good... It blew me out of the water. That came out on my birthday. Or, well, not exactly on my birthday, but I saw it on my birthday. And it was a great birthday movie. I loved every second of it. Edge of my seat. Beautiful. I think there's going to be more of the same.
Well, I feel like now I'm letting you all down that my number one is not an animated film.
Definitely.
It's,
You're definitely letting me down, Drew.
It's very much a live action film. And I have been anticipating it for a long time because I thought it was going to come out in 2022, but it has been pushed to next year. But this is Martin Scorsese's new film, Killers of the Flower Moon, is my most anticipated movie of 2023. I actually just read the book of this when I was on vacation a few weeks ago, and I read through this book pretty quickly. For those that don't know, Killers of the Flower Moon is about a true story from the early 1920s ish. Basically, for those who don't know, the Osage Indians were moved to a space of land in Oklahoma, just a rocky, crummy piece of land. And then it turned out that that piece of land was on top of one of the biggest oil deposits in the country. So the Osage Indians became millionaires, just super, super wealthy for that time. So, of course, what happened? A lot of the white folk then made their way there and married into the Indian families or became guardians or did whatever they could to get their hands on the fortunes that the Osage Indians had come into. And there was a big conspiracy of murders that happened at this time. And so now all of this is getting made into a film, directed by Martin Scorsese, as I said. It is starring Jesse Plemons is the lead of the movie. As an FBI investigator. This story is also kind of the birth of the FBI, which is also why it's interesting. But yeah, so Jesse Plemons is the lead. Leonardo DiCaprio is in this film. Robert De Niro, Brendan Fraser, John Lithgow. So it has a really big cast. And yeah, I've been highly anticipating it. It's actually got picked up by Apple. So this is an Apple TV Plus movie, but I think it will get a limited theatrical run in some capacity. But yeah, it's probably gonna be like 3.5 hours long and just inject it straight into my veins, please.
This actually sounds dope. I haven't heard of
great
this
cast.
before. It's a good pick. And then Gary, yours was
That's
already
number one.
done.
Yeah, that's right. My number one was Ant-Man Wasp Quantumania, so mine was covered.
Excellent. Well, that wraps up our number one lists, or our top 5 list, right?
Any honorable mentions for films for y'all?
I do have a few.
Fast 10.
Fast 10. Oh, God.
Little Mermaid.
Okay.
I had Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 on mine, just because Tom Cruise is kind of at a crazily enough, as big of a movie star as he's been. I feel like he's at a career high right now after Top Gun Maverick, and it's probably going to get some
The last
Oscar
Mission
recognition
Impossible
here
movie
soon.
was really
He has another like good 10, 15 years of awesome movies going to be coming out, I feel like. He has one he needs to film in space. He was supposed to film it actually in space, so.
That'd be fun.
All the Mission Impossible movies are awesome. Looking forward to that. I also did put Oppenheimer here just because it's a new Christopher Nolan movie, so that's always a big event. And lastly, I just wanted to shout out the Super Mario Brothers movie, which we've talked about a little bit on the podcast, I think, when the trailer dropped. But with the trailers and clips I've seen of this, I think it looks good and has a certain level of self-awareness to it. And so I think it might end up being really fun.
I've actually come around a lot on this, and like they keep showing that they're kind of like doing not just Mario games, they're also like Mario Kart, and like they kind of did some Smash Brothers a little bit, and like I don't know, it's bringing me around. I am actually excited. This is on my honorable mentions as well. I got the Super Mario Brothers movie. Are you saying something about the Super Mario Brothers, Sean?
Yeah, they're gonna have like Mario Party in there, and they're like doing shrooms.
That'd be funny. I'd watch
Mario
that.
Party aspect
yeah.
there.
Ain't no party
No,
like
I think
Mario
I
Party.
think it's been great. I think it'd be really good. Illumination has done really well, so I think it was a smart partnership to do it with that studio, and I think it will make a lot of money. To be honest,
I agree.
definitely.
This might be one of the biggest money-making movies of 2023. It's not that I'm excited or not excited to see it. I just don't feel like I'm really the target demographic, but I think I'm going to like it either way because I don't have high expectations for it because it's sort of a kid's movie. You know, it's a Mario movie. It's something to take your second grader or your fourth grader to, and I'm sure the kid in all of us will love it, but it's not. I'm not really the target demo, so I'm trying not to take it too seriously. But I think I'm going to like it because of that.
It's fair.
Yeah, somebody, obviously Avatar: The Way of Water has been making lots and lots of money, which isn't super surprising, and it doesn't have anything else in its way for the rest of this month, so it'll continue to do so. And that sparked a conversation with some friends recently, and somebody asked me what I thought would be, what movie had the highest chance of breaking $1 billion at the box office in 2023. And when I was thinking about it, like, the first thing that came to mind was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, just because to me it seems like a big deal in the MCU with Kang and what all it's setting up. But if you look at it realistically, it's the third Ant-Man movie, and neither of the first two Ant-Man movies made that much, and then even Black Panther: Wakanda Forever kind of stalled out in the $800 million range, and no Marvel movies last year all crossed $1 billion worldwide. So I don't really have that much faith that Ant-Man will. And when I was starting to look at the release schedule, I think Super Mario Brothers kind of has the biggest shot, like, because it's Illumination, and Minions: The Rise of Gru almost crossed $1 billion. It was close, and the
it's
first
Mario.
Minions,
Mario's
Yeah,
bigger than
it's like
Minions.
Mario,
Yeah.
international IP. It's just such a big thing internationally.
just the Illuminations franchises have done really well, like Secret Life of Pets, Despicable Me, which spun off Minions. Even the Grinch movie that they did well. So the fact that this is Illumination, and if it gets that China release, like, it's got a pretty good
I
shot to
think
cross $1 billion.
here's a big difference too, is that I wasn't going to go see Minions: Rise of Gru, and I don't think Jahan was either, and I don't think our friend Zach was either. But we will all go see this, and we'll bring our wives, and Jahan will bring his girlfriend, and Zach will go with Kai. I mean, everybody's going to go see Mario. It does. It's not like Minions: Rise of Gru. This is going to see double those numbers. You
feel
know,
like
this is going to be
Mario's-
crazy.
Mario's almost as recognized a name as Coca-Cola. Like, Mario
Right, I mean,
a pretty big name.
He has as much appeal as to somebody born in 1985 as to somebody that was born in 2020. Like, Mario is still a big deal. He's still around and has that mass appeal where old and young will probably go see it.
This might be one of the biggest kids movies, family movies of our lifetimes. With how much money this makes, I wouldn't be surprised. This could be colossal.
And you've got the Universal Studios parks. You know, I think the Super Mario Land is supposed to open this year in the U.S. It's already been open overseas.
Hollywood, yeah.
So you've got that coinciding with this movie coming out.
Yeah, in February will open up. So maybe they'll be doing a lot of promos in that too. I mean, they have a lot of ways to market this movie and get it in people's faces. I mean, there's a movie theater right at Universal Studios right outside the gates. So like,
That's cool.
yeah.
So I have a few more honorable mentions. A lot of them were mentioned. Like Dune was mentioned. Cocaine Bear was mentioned. Those are both honorable. I want to see those. Knock on the Cabin or At the Cabin looks really good. But then the ones we haven't talked about yet, Guardians of the Galaxy. Excited for that.
My
Surprised that
favorite
didn't
part
make
of
anybody's list.
Didn't make anyone's list, yeah. But
my
I mean,
favorite part of Thor was the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm excited for this movie more so than I was for Thor.
Probably same for me, yeah. I'm pretty excited for Guardians. It just didn't make my list. There's other stuff I want to see more. And then the Marvels, I'm excited for that. There's a movie, it's called Last Voyage of the Demeter. It is...
Oh, it looks wild. It's a poster or something I saw for it, I think.
I think it's about Dracula. It's based off of, like, a passage in the novel. Just like one passage. I guess he like eats everybody on board or something. But that sounds cool. I like vampires. And then also, I can't wait to watch that Nicolas Cage vampire movie. I'm excited.
Renfield
Right.
looks good.
I'm
Yeah, it's
excited
gonna be
for that
really
one.
good.
He actually looks like he's doing a good job too. I'm a Nicolas Cage guy. I
Dracula with
I
some
was standing
drip.
him.
But what about Dungeons and Dragons? You're not excited for that?
I am not. So, like, all right, man. Like, I love D&D. I love D&D my whole life. I love the cartoon when I was growing up. I played D&D since I was 12. I played all the games and stuff. But, like, so this is a big... So what they're doing is they're taking something I love, and then a bunch of producers are standing around it and, you know, pounding on it. And, you know, it's just... It doesn't look good, man. It looks... like it's just going to be a bunch of cheap laughs. It's barely going to have anything to do with D&D. They're going to be pulling, like, they'll be like, hey, look, it's an owlbear. You know what those are because you play D&D. And, like, honestly, it's kind of a huge middle finger right in my face. Like, I was wondering if anyone was going to ask me about it. And also, like, Wizards of the Coast, they're doing stuff right now in the community that's very toxic. They just changed their open gaming license terms, or they're going to, and it's going to make it so that a lot of people who rely on the open gaming license to make content for Dungeons and Dragons as a business, it's going to screw, like, the little guy. And, like, they're just getting too corporate, they're getting too big, and, like, it's affecting something that I love. But I'm probably going to see it. It's just... It's just kind of.
You might love it. Who knows? We'll see.
I might like it, but it's just it doesn't look good. It looks like a big old shit sandwich to me right now.
All right.
But I'm gonna take a bite and see if it might be a little better.
All right. March has a lot of movies coming out. Like Creed 3 is coming out. I'm looking forward to. Scream 6. You got Shazam coming out. 65 is that Adam Driver like sci-fi movie that looks interesting. Where he's
I love Adam Driver. He's he's very a talented man.
John Wick Chapter 4.
Is that this year?
That's one of those ones where I think, I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy, we all loved it. It has run its course. I'm glad this is the last one. John Wick, you have run your course. Come on, bro.
No,
this could be the last one.
Kraven the Hunter comes out this year.
That shouldn't happen.
You got the Willy Wonka movie.
That might be really good because it's got what's his face? Was it Timothy Chalamet?
Chalamet, yeah.
Playing young
Just
Wonka.
what everybody asked for. Everybody wanted.
Yeah,
a
but this is
Wonka
where he
prequel
discovers
musical.
This is where he discovers
The
the Oompa Loompas. And you gotta see young, creepy Timothy Chalamet playing with the Oompa Loompas. There's no way that's not gonna be a creepy, weird, good time.
Right. You got the Haunted Mansion movie coming out.
0% excited for that.
Yeah, pass.
That's a hard.
I'm just saying, there's some interesting stuff coming out. That's
There is
for
some
sure.
interesting stuff. John Wick, I definitely want to see that. I'm more excited.
Equalizer
for the spin-off.
3. Did you know about that?
I did know about that. I'm not a big
Seen
Equalizer
the
fan.
first
No.
or second one.
Surprised we didn't.
The
Drew,
first
did you
one was
mention,
pretty good.
Drew, did you mention Creed 3?
I didn't have it on my list, but I am looking forward to it for sure.
I knew you
Jonathan
were a fan of the
Majors.
Creed series.
The Expendables 4.
Yeah, that's another one of those that should be straight to Netflix. It's got Megan Fox, Dolph Lundgren, Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, all the people you would expect, and it'll probably be terrible.
Never seen an Expendables. Never.
Sounds good to me, actually.
Really? You've never seen an Expendables?
No thanks.
They're fun.
You should watch them all back
If
to
I
back.
wanted to watch the Expendables,
Pretty-
I'd just go roll my balls in cocaine and then have a good time.
The
with...
Expendables movies
sex
are
word.
pretty expendable.
Oh, I see what you did
All
there,
right.
Drew.
That's all the time we have, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Gary cancels the rest of the part. Yeah, I'm more excited than John Wick 4 for the spin-off Ballerina with Ana de Armas. I'm excited for that one. That
Same
one's gonna be
here.
good. But I don't think that comes out this year.
We are for sure running long, guys. I think we gotta wrap it up. There's a lot more to talk about, and we will certainly be back soon to talk about all the goodness coming out. Actually, probably one of our next recordings will be to talk about the Last of Us show that all of us were looking forward to. That'll definitely be a big topic of conversation. So yeah. Does anybody else have anything else before we officially wrap up? I know we're kind of cutting off the movie conversation, but I gotta get to bed, guys.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
past
definitely.
bedtime.
I mean, that was our top 5 everything for the year. Totally good to go. Thank you everyone for listening. This has been Fresh Out the Podcast, episode something. I don't remember. Tough titties.
72.
72. I've been the Board Game Guru and Game Master Extraordinaire, Johananon at RockFact on Twitter.
It's me, Casualty CDG, co-host of Fresh Out the Podcast and Fresh Out the Box. So if you like hearing us talk about movies and games and TV shows, maybe, just maybe, you'll like hearing us talk about stories. Right now we're playing Fantasy Age every Thursday where we're making up fantasy stories. We're doing Modern Age every other Friday where we are kind of teleporting between dimensions in a violent Mighty Max themed adventure. And also every other Friday, we've started painting miniatures. So if you're a miniature painter, stop by our stream, prime yourself a mini, join us on every other Friday. You can paint while we paint. We sit and talk. We have a good time. We talk all things nerdy and maybe give you some tips on painting. Just thank you guys so much for all of your support all the time. Tell your friends, tell your family, your loved ones, your enemies. Even tell that guy over there. You haven't met him yet, but he'll like our podcast. Walk over, tap him on the shoulder. Hey, man. I see that you have some of them iPod AirPods. You like podcasts by chance? Then tell them about Fresh Out the Podcast. Tell them about Nerdtropolis. And Sean, why don't you tell everybody who you are and why you were here?
I am the mayor of Nerdtropolis, the place to go for movie news, reviews, interviews, and trailers, and always nerding it up with my boys here.
And I am Drew Munhausen at Drew Munhausen on Twitter. A big thank you again, Sean, for joining us. This was a long... I know you've been on a couple other podcasts recently and had some long recordings. This was another long one, but I hope that it was worth it. We appreciate you being here.
I appreciate y'all having me. This is great.
Thanks everybody for being here. Stay fresh. See you next time.